Line tremble, gloves on tight, hands on the wheel and the whole room bright. Break points carved like cuts in stone. Every turn got a name of its own. Close draft breath in the mirror glow. One bad move and the pack swings low. Check that line, keep the rear end live. You don't survive here, you drive and drive. PHG in the chant, let it ring. Every lap got a hungry thing. Engine shout with a razor edge. We run that edge, we live that edge. Now the tension climbs, now the gridlock's tight. Hear the crowd lean in, feel that first turn bite. PHG, PHG, stomp that name. PHG, PHG, we came for the flame. PHG, PHG, shout it loud. PHG, PHG, shake the crowd. Wheel to wheel, we don't back down. PHG, PHG, take the crown. PHG, PHG, right here now. PHG, PHG, hear that sound. Lap by lap, we own this night. PHG, PHG, all fight. And a hard red stare. One late break and you're hanging there. Tiny mistakes turn into scars. Cut too close and you're seeing stars. But the pack keeps coming mean and fast. Every second feels like the last. Heat in the seat, no room to freeze. We move like wolves through the S-curve squeeze. PHG in the walls and the bones and the hiss and the crowd and the chrome tone. Say my name with the night on back. We don't drift off, we attack. Listen close. This is where it changes. This is where the calm gets stripped away. One corner, one breath, one heartbeat against a wall of engines. If you came for safe, you came wrong. If you came for slow, you stayed home. PHG is here, and the whole season starts now. Shout it loud, shake the crowd. Wheel to wheel, we don't back down. Take the crown, right here now. Hear that sound, lap by lap, we own this night. All fight, let it fade, but the mark we made won't wash away. Season 4, still in your chest. First lap curse and the final test. One last cry till the checker drops from the sky. We were here, you heard the call. We started all. Welcome to the grid, where the names don't fade, where the first turn shakes and the brave get made. PHG in the air, hear the whole room call. Season 4 tonight, yeah, we came to ball. Chrome on the nose and the tires scream. Every lap a test, every corner a dream. Legends in the lane with the pressure on. When the lights go down, we're already gone. PHG, PHG, let it ring through the dome. Bring that fire to the track, bring it all back home. Drivers on edge, eyes locked, hands cold. One more shot at glory, one more story told. Helmet on tight, heart loud on my chest. Nerves like a wire, but I never rest. Grid full of ghosts with the title to keep. And the whole world waiting when the red lights sleep. Every move sharp, every line stays clean. Close on the inside, cut through the scene. If you want the crown, better hold that pace, cause the legends don't blink in a high-speed race. Hear that shit now. PHG, 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 feel it shake now. PHG, PHG. One breath, one line, one chance to shine. No backing off, it's go time. The go time. PHG, PHG, let it ride. Legends race here, nowhere to hide. PHG, PHG, feel the flame. Season 4, we all know the name. PHG, PHG, take the crown. pressure, I'm cutting it close. Paint on the bumper, I'm ghost to the ghost. They want my line, but I've been that raw. One hard pass and the whole room cool. Burnt out rubber on the edge of the fight. Every lap counts in the dead of night. If the pack comes close, I don't move back. I hit that gap like a clean attack. Hit that jam now. PHG. 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 Feel it shake now. PHG. PHG. One breath, one line, one chance to shine. No backing off, it's go time. PHG, PHG, let it ride. Legends race here, nowhere to hide. PHG, PHG, feel the flame. Season 4, we all know the name. PHG, PHG, take the crown when the lights hit red. We don't slow down. PHG, PHG, hear that roar. Legends race here, and we want more. Yeah. Look at that lineup. Look at that pressure. This is where the fast learn fear and the fearless learn speed. PHG, World Series Season 4. Not a warm-up, not a preview. This is the race. This is the run. This is where legends move. Take the signal, lock the pace. One more lap, one more chase. Hands stay steady, eyes stay true. Every rival pushing through. When the crowd all rise and the engine scream, we break the limit, we own the drive. PHG, PHG, let it ride. Legends race here, nowhere to hide. PHG, PHG, feel the flame. Season 4, we all know the name. PHG, PHG, take the crown when the lights hit red. We don't slow down. PHG, PHG, hear that roar. Legends race here, and we want more. PHG, legends race here. Season 4, we're live, we're locked, we're going. Welcome in, buckle in, tune that grip. PSG World Series Season 4, let it rip. 4 wheels, hard lines, one more lap. Hear that chant, shake the whole room back. PSG, PSG, say it again. From the first green light to the very end. We came for the smoke, came for the pace, came for the chase, came for the race. So if you hear that roar in the back of your mind, that's the feel coming up on the inside. PSG, PSG, let it ride. Season 4, and it's ours tonight. Start, line tremble, gloves on tight, hands on the wheel and the whole room bright. Break points carved like cuts in stone. Every turn got a name of its own. Close draft breath in the mirror glow. One bad move and the pack swings low. Check that line, keep the rear end live. You don't survive here, you drive and drive. PHG in the chant, let it ring. Every lap got a hungry thing. Engine shout with a razor edge. We run that edge, we live that edge. Now the tension climbs. Now the gridlock's tight. Hear the crowd lean in. Feel that first turn bite. PHG, PHG. Stomp that name. PHG, PHG. We came for the flame. PHG, PHG. Shout it loud. PHG, PHG. Shake the crowd. Wheel to wheel, we don't back down. PHG, PHG.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Season 4, Round 4 of the PHG Gran Turismo World Series. I'm joined today in the booth with my friends Mustang Chuck and the proprietor of PHG, Mr. Papa himself. Chuck, let's start with you. How you feeling tonight?
I am feeling great, Sal. I'm off this weekend. I'm ready to enjoy some racing, some commentating. I love getting behind the mic and hanging out with you guys and talking about cars and racing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Papa, how you feeling tonight? You ready for this one?
I am ready for this one. I think this is going to be one of our more action-packed races.
I think you're onto something there.
It's going to be good. I can't wait to get this going.
Yeah, me as well. I mean, we'll talk about this in a minute. Being at Road Atlanta, a short track with multi-class cars, which is what we're doing this season. This is bound to be exciting. But before we get into stuff, let's start off first by thanking our sponsors who are helping make this possible.
Well, first, let's start off with SimNet. SimNet Racing is focused on delivering high-quality, affordable sim racing hardware, highlighted by their SP Pro load cell pedal set, designed to provide precise braking feel, consistency, and improved control for competitive drivers. Built by sim racers for sim racers, their products strike the perfect balance between performance and accessibility. And don't forget the discount code. PHG GTWS will get you an 8% discount off your order.
Our next sponsor is Paul Davis. With decades of experience in residential and commercial restoration, Paul Davis Restoration is a trusted leader in emergency services, water and fire damage restoration, mold remediation, reconstruction, and large loss recovery. Their commitment to professionalism, rapid response, and customer care has made them a respected name across the industry.
And then we have 4D Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 4D sim racing shoes are custom engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, and still provide all the comfort needed for those double and triple stints. Visit 4dracewear.com and check out the original racing gloves for your feet. And don't forget to use discount code PAPA10X for 10X or 10% off your order.
And then last but definitely not least, we have MZW. MZW delivers high-quality sim racing gear, including custom GT-style wheel replicas and premium accessories built for performance, precision, and immersion, especially with the Fanatec ecosystem. Hoorah. Thanks.
All right, and next we will go through the round information for this one. Papa, could you take us through it?
All righty then. We are obviously season 4, round 4. We are over halfway of the season, y'all. It is a 60-minute race. We are at Road Atlanta. Tires are 2 times on the wear. Fuel is 2 times with a 3-second per liter refuel rate. We will be in the GT1 and the GT3 cars. And the theme this week is Audi versus Porsche.
Yeah, that, like we've said, this being multi-class, this is going to be really interesting on this tight course, watching these guys try to navigate each other. This is,
the lines it's a narrow line, racing line, major speed difference between the GT1s, GT3s. I'm guessing somewhere maybe lap 10 is when the GT1s are going to start lapping the GT3 cars. Maybe a little sooner, but it's going to get crazy.
Yeah, crazy. Crazy is going to be the name of the game. So now, some say that he is the offspring of Skynet and GT Sophie. We are going to go watch a set of laps done by our very own PHG, the Razi.
The Razi.
Razi, here we are at Road Atlanta. We're going to watch him use the Audi here in the Group 3 cars. For this first corner, you're going to approach it with a really high speed. You're going to dab the brakes, maybe even downshift just to get through that fast right-hander. And as you approach the left-hander at the top of the hill, you want to eat up as much of this curb on the right as you can, but be careful not to upset the car. It can get loose and spin out on you. After that, you get through the S's, a nice fast-flowing section. You may have to lift in the GT3s, just beware of that. And as you get through the fast left-hander here, you want to be careful not to go too wide. That's a popular place to catch a penalty. You get onto the straightaway as you enter into the 2 right-handers. This first one you can carry a little more speed through, go all the way wide, hit the throttle just a little bit before you get onto that heavy braking zone. You really don't want to compromise your exit speed getting out of here. This is the longest straight on the track, and this is where you want to carry as much speed as possible. This is also where the Group 3 cars may be watching for those Group 1 to pass them. This is going to be the big passing zone on the track. As we get to the chicane at the end, as you start to come down the hill, you start braking right around the 100 board. Get through this chicane again, eat up the curbs, but don't upset the car. Be careful not to get into the grass because another popular spot to spin out. And then as you get to the final corner leading to the start finish line again, you may have to lift if you're in the Group 3 cars. And that's how you get a lap done at Road Atlanta in Group 3. Now on to the Group 1s. More of the same, only a lot faster and a lot more downforce. As you get into this first turn, you, again, only dab the brakes, carry as much speed as possible, way more speed than the Group 3 cars. Again, as you get to the top of the hill, again, cut that curb. The Group 1s can get upset even easier, so you got to be careful with that one. Through the S's, they should be able to keep the throttle pinned the whole way. Dab the brakes. Fast left-hander, again, be careful not to go too far wide and get a penalty. Again, another short passing zone on the straightaway before we get to the two right-handers. Once again, carry speed through the first one, heavy braking zone into the second one. Get all the speed you can coming out so you can get past all those Group 3 cars as you go down the long straightaway headed to the final chicane. You know, once again, navigating through here, we're probably going to see quite a bit of back and forth, bobbing and weaving. It'll be fun. As we come down the hill, late brake as late as possible, trail brake your way into the chicane, get your way on out, and then it's full throttle from here to the start finish line. And that is a full lap in the Group 1 cars here at Road Atlanta.
Boom.
Now after that, we will go to the Split 1 graphics. Chuck, can you take us through who the drivers are for this first split we're going to see?
Of course. So the first driver we have is Florinoda. This is all in GT1. Next one up, we've got Wid from Sector 7 Racing. Next is B Pepst. And after that, we've got PHG's own Sheldologist. After that, we've got Sector 7's Detrick Serum. Following that, we've got Talon. After that, we've got Miss Covington. And then in the GT3 class for one, we've got Jorge Sr. Following that, we've got Kay Naranjo. After that, we've got Sector 7's Hovercraft. Following that, we've got Drobo. Sector 7's Nuke follows Drobo. And then we've got Sector 7's Mr. Racing 40. And lastly, we've got VIP Cornbread.
All right, there we go. There's our starting lineup and what we're going to be running today. Man, like we talked about, this is going to be an exciting one. Again, this is a tight track. You know, there's a limited number of passing zones here, and certainly some spots where if you start going too wide, not only are you risking crashing, but even if you make it through, it is going to significantly slow down both your pace and the driver with you. So, you know, Papa, what would be your strategy if you were running in this race today? You know, is it really take it easy? Is it, you know, push and go for everything? What are your thoughts on this one?
I think this is going to be a push race with caution. Again, like I said, with the tight lines, the Group 3 cars are definitely going to have to keep their heads on the swivels because once those GT1s catch them, they're going to come fast. But on the same respect, the GT1s are going to have to be patient coming up through the S's, in the tight corners, the chicanes. There's really only like 3 good passing opportunities on a circuit. So I expect to see probably some hair-raising moments, but I would definitely be pushing this race.
Yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
think fuel's going to be an issue at all.
Yeah, I think especially that turn one. I mean, turn one is a
Yeah.
possible passing area because it's so long. But everybody's trying to carry as much speed as they can through
Right.
there, going from you enter it as far left as you can, cut it down onto the apex, and then float it out wide. If you're side by side or you got a Group 1 car coming up on you, I mean, you're going to have to drop 10, 15 miles an hour, and then you're coming up the hill after that. So you lose even more time.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the Group 1s are gonna have to be careful that they don't cut, not necessarily cut the Group 3 off, but catch them by surprise. You know, if a Group 3 car is gonna try to take, the corner as they normally would and as much speed as they can, they may not have the opportunity to get slowed down and avoid floating wide, that if your Group 1's coming flying on the outside, that one could be tough. So,
Right.
turn 1 is gonna be one I'm gonna be really interested to watch. Obviously, the S's are a place where you can push, but you probably don't want to. We're going to have to see just how well the Group 1 drivers can exercise a little bit of patience. Chuck, what is it that you're really looking forward to watching in this race?
I'm really looking forward to watching. It's a very tight technical course. I've always been a fan of, regardless of where you're at, trying to outpace everyone and draw that lead out, right? So you can build that gap. And then if need be, you can back off as the race progresses and you watch the intervals of the people behind you. That turn one is going to be really entertaining to watch. It's definitely tricky once the green flag drops. It's all the cars are bunched together, and I'm just really looking forward to seeing the various strategies of everyone involved in the race and seeing how they navigate this technical circuit that is Road Atlanta.
Yeah, absolutely. And the two right-handers that are at the bottom of the turkey leg, there's those two tight right-handers before you get into the starting line. Is going to be a tough one to navigate. And it sounds like the drivers are headed out onto the track. We should be getting underway here.
Do this.
Here we go. We got Florinota leading us off on the pole. Going to get this one underway, see how well all these Group 1 cars get through Group 1 and get through those S's. Like you mentioned, Papa, it's going to be a few laps before they start catching those Group 3 cars. They're going to have some time to just kind of turn in some laps. Let's see if they're going to pull a gap between each other or not. And there we go. We are green, green, green. Off we go, headed down the front stretch towards that tricky turn one as we watch Florinota get just a little bit on the brakes. Almost goes through it full throttle, big lift, but then goes flying through there. Has a little bit of a gap to Wid, but Wid, starts to close it as they get through that first right-hander. Now they're entering the S's. Here they go, just really smooth through there. The Group 1 cars with so much grip can just fly through those S's really with no problem at all. But that last corner there, where they have that hill, that's the one to really look out for. And here's the bottom of the turkey leg that we were talking about. Got to carry some speed through here. There's a little bit of a possible passing zone there, but you got to hit it just right if you're going to be able to do that. Looks like Florinota's getting a little bit of a gap to Wid. Surprise there. Back in, looks like 3rd, 4th, 5th, we got them all bunched up. Papa, what are they looking at as far as tire strats?
I was just going to say, all of the GT1 cars just are on racing mediums. Nobody started on the softs. For the Group 3 cars, we have Jorge is on the softs and Cornbread. So first and last in the Group 3 car are on the softs. Everybody else on the track is on racing mediums to start this race.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, it's going to be...
It looked like back there as they were finishing up the lap, we had like 4th and 5th were going side by side. Let me see, it looks like they've ended up with Sheldologist there running in 4th right now. The Truth Serum right behind in P5. Looks like they've all got a little bit of a gap. Only about a second separates everybody, so there's still slipstream available to most of these drivers. Sheldologist is a little far behind B Pabst in order to sniff at that slipstream, but the Truth Serum for sure has it. These Group 1 cars, the slipstream is quite effective. There's a lot of closing speed to be had as these things start getting up to speed because they're so downforce dependent. We're on board with Miss Covington. Right? Go ahead, Papa.
No, I was agreeing with you. Those GT1s there, like I said, you need to be in the throttle if you want that thing to turn with the downforce.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Talon harassing Miss Covington here, keeping it nice and tight, less than a third of a second behind. Again, the dirty air, something you got to look out for again in this turn one. You want to carry a whole bunch of speed, but that front end washes out. You get into the grass, it's a long ways to get back on.
Yeah.
All right, if we check in with our Group 3 class, we've got Oak here leading the field. Or no, Jorge's up leading the field, but he's got a 2.5 second gap to Oak here in P9. Mr. K. Naranjo hovercraft right behind, though. Sector 7 Racing only a half second off. Kind of being a pest there, trying to keep it in the slipstream range. We haven't seen a lot of battles on track yet. We just saw that first lap. A little bit of side-by-side as we got to the end of the first lap, but After that, they seem to have kind of gone single file from here on out. Got Drobo back here in P11. Mr. Racing not too far behind, only a second.
Down in the chat, we've got Fernando Button. He says he's raced this track twice in real life in the late 80s. What are some of your insights, Fernando, about how the track is run and some things that might be different between real life racing and sim racing?
Oh, here we go. We've got some side-by-side with Cornbread trying to make a move on Nuke here. Looks like he gets the move done heading into the chicane. Bold move to be had there. Good passing zone, though. Made sure to have that slipstream all the way through.
Yeah, those grippier tires probably helped them there for Cornbread, being on those softs.
Yes, there you go. Absolutely. I do like Nuke's livery here. Instead of having the gears over the tires, he's got like those saw blades. That's a really cool look.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, here they go. Cornbread just trying to get a little bit of a gap to Nuke there, just trying to stay with him. Looks like he is still within a half second. And currently on a personal best for this lap.
Yeah, if Nuke can hang on to Cornbread and use that draft, that'll definitely help him in the long run. Basically letting Cornbread use his softs up and maintaining the speed of the lap.
And we go up and we check in with Oak here. Still running in P9. Looks like Jorge is really running away with it here in the GT3 class. He's got a 4.5 second gap over Oak, who still has hovercraft well in tow. As we finish up lap 4 here.
Yeah, remember,
GT1 cars are...
Jorge's the other one that started on the racing soft, so that could explain a little bit why he's pulling away.
Yep, we certainly have seen him pull away from the field in the past. Likes to lay down that raw speed and just run some time trial laps. He'll switch over to that softer compound, and we'll see if the likes of Oak can start to rein him in once we get to that point. But until then, he's just putting down some time here. The Group 1 cars are starting to get caught up. Looks like the Group 3s are just exiting. Most of them are exiting the S's, whereas the Group 1 cars are entering the S's, so it's not going to be much longer before we're going to start seeing that speed difference and a lot of passing taking place.
And down there in the chat, Fernando's basically iterated that it's what we in the enthusiast community like to call the old butt dyno, and how it really matters here in a place like Road Atlanta. Unfortunately, that's something you don't get in sim racing. That's one of the disconnects that we unfortunately have to deal with.
Good insight. I've never been to Road Atlanta myself, so it would be a fun track to visit for sure. Here we go. We see Florinota leaning us off still with the second lead over Wid.
Closing in on the Group 3s really quick.
Yep, finishing up lap 6, and the Group 3s are on the front stretch. He's probably gonna be catching them just as they get to the S's, which is probably the exact wrong time. We're gonna see just how patient some of these Group 1 drivers can be. And there they are. There's the back of the Group 3 field, and there we are, right at the S's. So gonna try to get through here, see if he can either thread the needle or just kind of tuck in behind. Looks like he is going to try to go for a pass as we get into the final corner. Slows both of them down. That allowed Wid to look less than 0.2 of a second, right up on his bumper. I mean, that's navigating the lap traffic. Florinota did the right thing and was patient for quite a bit, but Wid was able to just follow him right there. And then now on the long stretch, we got 3 Group 1 cars, 1, 2, 3. Those Group 1s are going to go just flying right by him. Tuck into that slipstream, see if they can grab a little bit off the Group 1 cars, but now as they enter the chicane, Florinota still has a decent enough lead. Holding off Wid for now, catching up to Hovercraft. Going to put Hovercraft a lap down. And then Wid, gets caught out, goes off into the grass to get around Hovercraft. That was a tough one. Wid was on the outside as they were going through that corner, and I don't know if Hovercraft didn't see him coming, but ran it really wide there. Wid able to take the evasive action and maintain control of the car, And now Wid is stuck behind Oak here as we get through the S's, allowing Florinoda to get that gap back that he lost on the previous lap. All right, we're going to have the replay here of that pass that Wid was making on Hovercraft here. You can see as he approaches, just goes to the outside. Hovercraft just continues to float it on by. That could have been bad. That could have been bad.
Yeah, it's definitely very hard in any of these cars, but most especially in these Group 1 cars. You taste a little bit of that grass, then you're usually going to end up going sideways. So kudos to him for being able to keep the car in a straight line and make that pass.
And for Florinoda, he put in a great qualifying time. So we know he's fast, but honestly, Witt would be the last person I would want chasing me down right now. And right behind him, you have B. Paps, who showed all of just a stacked field of talented drivers.
Yeah, and even behind Sheldologist, I mean, DeTruth Serum, also a crazy fast driver. So
mixed.
There's really nowhere for anybody to relax in this field, both in Group 1 and Group 3. So here they go, getting again through the field. It looks like they caught them right at the end of the S's, which helped out. Miss Covington here on a bit of an island, along with Talon, not having to worry about the cars around them. And we are about 10 minutes in to this 60-minute race. We've got 50 minutes left to go. So a lot of early action the first part of this race. Jorge with a 9-second lead after only 8 laps, but has Miss Covington coming up on him here, getting through the chicane. Miss Covington should be able to put them a lap down. Yep, goes to the inside, easy pass. The nice thing about having all that grip is that as you come into this final corner, the Group 1s can drive around the Group 3 cars. The Group 3s, I mean, if you keep it pinned, there really only is one line. Yeah. I mean, you need to do the outside, inside, outside, and you pretty much use the whole track. Same thing with turn 1. Those guys, the Group 1 cars need to remember that there's sometimes where the Group 3s are not going to be able to get out of the way, and they're not supposed to get out of the way. They're supposed to maintain a predictable racing line.
Right, and it's the faster car's job to make a safe pass.
Exactly. And that's where the S's get so tricky, because, I mean, the racing line is basically to keep blocking the road. I mean, you go side to side. Yeah, that gets tricky.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, watch Oak here as he gets onto the long straightaway. There's a 1.3 or 1.25 second lead over Hovercraft. So Hovercraft's just got a little bit of a sniff at that slipstream, but probably not going to help him out much. It looks like he is closing the gap just slightly. As we check in with Drobo here, currently running in P12, chasing down Mr. Racing. Cornbread behind, as we mentioned earlier, Cornbread on the racing softs, trying to get caught up in this field. So has the tire advantage over Drobo and is currently within a second.
Yeah, and honestly, I expected Cornbread to make some moves early, being on those softs, but since the start of the race, he's only gained the 1 position over me.
And maybe a matter of just getting into the flow of things. Again, this being a long race, we're approaching the quarter mark. We're 12 and a half minutes into a 60-minute race, so plenty of time to get things straightened out.
And I'm guessing the 2 drivers in the Group 3 cars that are on the softs, they're probably going to have to pit. I'm going to say probably somewhere between lap 18 and lap 20. To get those mediums put on.
Okay. Yeah, we see Sheldo here running the racing mediums. Doesn't look like there's much wear on that tire at all. 13 minutes into this race, so it's going to be able to go well over halfway on the tires. The fuel is less than, or has used up a little over a quarter tank of fuel at this point. So it looks like they will probably run out of fuel before they run out of tire.
Usa King's talking about that he's at a big drag racing event in Kentucky. Busa, if you can still hear us, let us know what event you're at.
These guys are doing a drag race down the backstretch here. A big long section of track before they hit that heavy braking zone for the chicane. Pete Pap's working his way up to the start-finish line with Sheldologist in tow. Looks like these guys are running a nice, courteous race. Not a lot of challenges for position at this point, other than passing the Group 3 cars, of course. And you can see they're avoiding that right-hand curb. It is certainly faster to go around this track by eating that curb up, but it can unsettle the cars, especially the Group 1s that are, lower to the ground, stiffer suspension. Got to be careful not to slide that rear end and go off into the grass, because that's another area where if you get off track, it can take you a little bit to get back on. Sector 7 Wid, maintaining that gap, staying within slipstream with Florinota.
Yeah, I've been watching these two the last couple of laps, and Florinota seems to be really good through Sector 1. Coming up through the S's there. But Wade gets really good drive down at the bottom of that turkey leg, those two turns. Coming onto that back stretch. He's able to close back in on him there. But it all seems to balance out right about the end of the lap. Stay right on about that 9/10 to a second gap between the two.
There you go. We saw Florinota eat up that curb a little bit as he's approaching lap traffic again. Let's stay on board with him, see how he navigates this. Catches these guys right at the right time. Now that we're on this short straightaway, easily gets by Newton. He's going to get to Drobo and pass him just in the braking zone. No problem there. But Wids appears to have caught them exactly at the wrong time. Has to get that pass done on Nuke at the bottom of the turkey leg. It was a good pass. Then had to stay tucked in behind Drobo as they got onto the straightaway. You can see that gap. It was, at about a second. It's now a second and a half.
Yeah.
Florinota going to pass and get around Mr. Racing before the braking zone, so timed that perfectly. Still has a gap of about 1.4 seconds. Looks like Florinota on this last lap got pretty lucky catching the cars just at the right time. Unfortunately, Wid not so lucky. Whoa, almost got in the back of Oak there.
Yeah, Oak has actually gotten, Hovercraft has actually gotten past Oak here in the last lap. And Oak was, he was sliding pretty good coming from turn 1 there. But having a little handling issue.
Yeah, it looked like as Florinota was trying to get around outside and had to take evasive action not to get into the back of him. Might have touched him just a tad, but bit of a Code Brown moment there.
Code Brown.
We've all definitely had some of those. I always bring it up, racing in VR, everything's just much more intense. You think it looks close here on what I always call the broadcast view, but if you're down in VR or even in bumper cam, everything just looks haywire and crazy. If you're any kind of experienced in VR, you know what I'm talking about.
Looks like Pete Pap's there and picked up a 1-second penalty somewhere along the way and is now back in P7. So in last place in the Group 1 pack, he was running in what? I think it was in 3rd position, was he not?
3rd, 4th, yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. He was in 3rd. He was behind Wid.
So yeah, something big must have happened that's put Pete Pap's quite a ways back.
Yeah.
We're about 17 and a half minutes into this race. Plenty of time to make that up. 1.8 seconds off of P6. Jorge here.
Yeah.
Halfway through lap 14 with a 14.6 second lead over Hovercraft. Florinota puts him another lap down.
Yeah, Jorge's only got a few more laps on these tires, though.
Yeah, that's true. He is probably feeling it at this point.
Yeah, where Hovercraft behind him, he can probably go another 10 laps before he's got a pit at least.
All right, so let's think about this. If we do the math, we're coming up to the 20-minute mark. And at about the 20-minute mark, it looks like he'll have gone through a half a tank of fuel. So that means they're going to need about 1.5 tanks of fuel to make this work. That means possibly could fill up the mediums or put the mediums on, fill the tank all the way up. That could take them all the way to the end. This could be a one-stop race.
Yeah, I agree.
Hovercraft kind of maintaining that gap. Looks like the lead hasn't continued to go up, which again, as we were talking about, Jorge is probably starting to feel the effects of those tires pretty good by now. The racing softs might be on par with the racing mediums at this point in the race.
Yeah, it's true.
And Oak not losing ground to Hovercraft, staying attached to him. Maybe able to save a little bit of fuel running in his slipstream. Let's check in with our leader, and now might be a good time for the crank it up. We're going to listen to these engines scream for a little while. There we go. Hope you guys enjoyed that crank it up session. Once we got it cranked up, of course. We saw while we were away that Jorge hit the pits, as we expected, right around that 20-minute mark. We checked in with Jorge. It looks like he still only has half a tank of fuel, running another stint on the racing softs. So did not switch to the racing mediums. Papa, can you remind us, are racing mediums required, or are the racing mediums and racing softs just allowed?
Nope, racing softs and racing mediums are required.
All right, so Jorge looking at a 2-stop strat. We have seen him do this before, where he puts in an extra pit stop but still runs away from the field. He's going to have more time on the racing softs for sure, doing it this way, and we'll just run a 20-minute stint probably on the racing mediums, unless he can make the tires and fuel last a little bit longer. Maybe he only has to do 15 minutes on the racing mediums.
Now, Cornbread did pit as well, and went to the racing mediums, but he also took no.
Saw a bit of a bump there from Jorge. Yeah, a little contact going. coming out of the S's. But yeah, Papa, as you were mentioning, Cornbread does switch over to the racing mediums, but did not fill up the fuel tank. So he will likely have to pit again unless he does some extreme fuel saving. Has just a little less than 50% left. So you watch B Pabst go around through the S's. Well done. All right, let's just run through the whole grid and see where everybody's at. We'll start off with Wid, who got around Florinata there at some point and is now leading this race with 1 second lead. Florinata back in P2, but with a healthy 6.7 second lead over PHG Sheldologist, currently running in P3 on a bit of an island. You can see him getting around some lap traffic there. P4, we got Miss Covington, who appears to be coming to the pits. Going to get off of those racing mediums. P5 is Talon, followed closely by S7R's The Truth Serum, who was in P6, now promoted to P5 after Mist went into the pits. And then B Pabst is bringing up the rear of the Group 1 field. Has lost quite a bit of time to The Truth Serum. Had been hanging with the rest of the group, was running in P3 early on in this race, and appears to have had some trouble. All right, so P1 in the Group 3 class currently is Hovercraft due to the fact that Jorge has taken a pit already. But in P9 right behind still has Oak following him. These two have been racing together quite tight. And we had almost 3 wide heading into the chicane with Wid and Florinota getting around Oak. They both got around before the chicane.
Oh, somebody got squirrely out there. It's like it was Oak.
Yep, Oak's dropped back a little bit. Did we catch a replay of that one? Let's see here. So they're coming to the chicane. There we watch the Group 1s get around as it comes out of the chicane, heading up the hill. Oh, yep, it's a little bit sideways. Kept it pointed straight for the most part, but probably lost a couple tenths getting through that last sector there. But all right, so we've got Oak currently running P2 in the Group 3 class. And there's Jorge, 2.4 seconds back after having pitted, still sitting in P3, running on the softs, may end up pitting around the same time as those medium runners. And then S7R's Mr. Racing, currently running in P4 in the Group 3 class, followed by Drobo, P5, S7R's Nuke in P6, and Cornbread back in P7. Man, Cornbread really had a chance to do the one stopper here and maybe save some time in the pits, having switched to the racing mediums had he filled up the tank, but he didn't fill up the tank. Is that a mistake, Papa? What do you think?
I'm not sure it is, because obviously he's going to have to pit again. I would assume he's going to go back onto the racing softs and only take about half a tank of fuel.
That would make sense. And that way he's running more of the race on a lower tank of fuel. I hadn't thought of that.
Right. So we'll have to see how that plays out, but that's going to be my guess. When he pits again, he'll come back out on the softs, do his second stint. Where I think everybody else is looking at the one stop, Hovercraft and Oak and Mr. Racing.
Yeah, anybody that stayed out longer than the 20 minutes, I would guess they are going to be running all the way to the 40-minute mark, run the tank and the tires all the way down.
Right.
And then just do one stint on the softs. I mean, saving a lot of time in the pits, certainly helps, but they're going to lose time on the track, not running. Essentially, they're going to have 20 minutes where they're running on softs, whereas these guys that are doing the two stops are running, they're running on mediums when the other guys are running on softs. I don't know, 20 minutes? Is that going to be enough time to make up the pit stop?
I don't know.
I mean, this is why we watch the race. We'll see
Right.
how it all
Right.
So just an update on Mick Covington during his pit, where we're going through the field. He did come in, change his racing mediums to racing softs, but he also took no fuel.
Okay, so that's going to be another two-stop runner. Got the mediums out of the way first, and we'll probably be running softs all the way to the end. Interesting.
He is currently, because of that pit, he is almost 14 seconds behind the next position ahead of him. He's running last in the GT1 class right now.
Okay. Yeah, almost 14 seconds behind B-Paps. And B-Paps was quite a ways behind the Truth Serum as well. So these guys certainly have some ground to make up, but we do know Miss Covington is a fast driver.
Yes.
So they will likely make up some time. In fact, they've got the gap to B-Paps getting down to the low 13 seconds already, coming up on some lap traffic. Gets 2 passes done before the chicane. Should now get around Hovercraft pretty easily coming through the final set of corners. In fact, before he even gets to the final corner. Jorge right on the back of Oak is caught back up. Fresh set of softs, low fuel, putting in some decent lap times for sure.
Oak looked like he went wide a little bit.
And then Oak loses it. Oak, I think, was a little upset. You saw him flashing the lights at Jorge. Let's watch this here as he gets through. I couldn't tell if there was a little bit of a tap. Oak went wide. And we could see if we look back at him.
I don't think there was contact.
I think we might have another angle of this here.
Get on through. Nope, doesn't look like there's any contact. Oak just trying to keep it on. And then, into the grass as he hit the brakes and sent the rear end around. Probably a little bit of frustration there in losing the position. May have caused him to have yet another issue.
I mean, we know Oak too. That could have been a good pass. Flash.
Yeah, and we all know too with these Porsches, with it, this is the newer Porsche, I believe, and with it being, rear engined, yes, it is stable in the corners until it's not. You lift off at the wrong time, and that tail end is going to send you sideways.
Well, it looked like we might have had another really close racing there heading into turn 1. Jorge getting around Hovercraft. As they approached turn 1, it looked like they got really close. Let's check in with that again. They're going to come down the front stretch. Gets the run here. As they come in, if there was contact, it was just barely. Everybody kept it straight. Jorge drives on by.
Well,
there we go. Jorge back into the lead.
Yep.
Even though he has taken a pit stop. So, incredible driving.
While we were watching
Jorge.
all that, Talon was in and out of the pits, came in on his mediums, came back out on the softs, and he took about a quarter tank of fuel. Florinata is in the pits now as we speak.
Yep. Well, we are past the halfway point.
Yep.
It may be that the Group 1 cars, if maybe they're only going to use 1 1/4 tank of fuel.
Yep.
And he doesn't have to fuel it all the way up. Florinota just coming out of the pits did the same thing.
Yep.
Came out on racing softs, 3/4 of a tank. Probably set to go. If we've seen 2 drivers fill up to that same amount at the same time, pretty safe bet that's the right amount of fuel to take. Now that he's back in P6, he's got a lot of clean air around him. Miss Covington is 13.6 seconds ahead, and Talon is 8.5 seconds behind. So Florinota can just put in some time trial laps at this point. Miss Covington currently has the fastest lap, the 107.042.
Yeah, I don't know.
Certainly a quick driver. But, Wid is also quick and has not gotten off of the racing mediums yet. So I'll be interested to see if they can surpass that time once they make their way onto the soft tire.
Right. I'll be interested to see if those soft tires last, for another 28 minutes.
Yeah, that might be a tall order.
Yeah. You're talking another 25 laps on softs. I don't know.
Yeah, we see Typically, the softs will last about half the time that the mediums will. Wid is his mediums are a little over halfway gone. Now, with that being said, the second half of the tire tends to go quicker than the first half of the tire.
Yep. You do a lot more sliding, a lot more scrubbing of that rubber.
Well, now that they've got their way around the lap traffic, they seem to be navigating it pretty good. We haven't seen a lot of issues between the Group 1 and the Group 3 cars thus far, which, I mean, this is split one. These are the best of the best as far as the PHG World Series goes.
Truth serum off track.
Ooh, what position? P4, it looks
P4.
like.
Yep.
Oh, now back to P5. So we go back to P4. To the Truth Serum. P4. P4. Oh, yep, see, he's already spun out. Okay, so it looks like we missed it. Actually, we could probably catch that from another angle here if we want to.
I don't know.
Pull the replay back up.
There, I'm not sure he didn't have some sort of mechanical failure because he didn't recover.
Nope. We were on him, and then we switched again. Where'd he go? There he is. Yeah, and he's already spun out.
But see how he's
But
just
he's just sitting there.
Yeah,
so
that looks
he
like
may...
a mechanical failure to me. I've been victim of that a time or two myself, just by the way he kind of rolled back and everything. That really looks to me like some kind of a equipment failure.
Yeah.
It looks like he is back under power now, heading into the pits. But, yeah, unfortunate for the Truth Serum. He's going to get off of those mediums. 24 minutes left to go. A little less than a quarter tank of fuel. We'll see what they... we're on Sheldologist now, who... I think a lot of these medium runners, I mean, if they can make their way down to the 20-minute mark, they should be really safe to run the softs the rest of the way. Anybody who hits a little earlier is going to get more laps on the soft tire, but they're going to be warned. Sheldologists heading into the pits now with 24 minutes left to go.
C-Dubs, we are doing great. I hope your recliner nap was good. I hope you're enjoying the broadcast, and I hope all of you are enjoying the broadcast. Make sure you smash that like button.
Oaken
and
racing in
subscribe.
P10, P11 side by side for position. Oak
So Racing just staying slight ahead of him.
Yeah. Oak was up beside him, but Mr. Racing was able to hold him off. But Oak is definitely pushing him.
And if you remember, these two were teammates in IRO last year. So these guys very well aware of how they race together. Oak all over the back of them. Again, going side by side, heading into the bottom of the turkey leg. Mr. Racing later on the brakes, able to keep that lead. Let's see how they get the exit to the turkey leg. Oh, Oak all the way up alongside. Big bobble by Mr. Racing coming out of it, which gives Oak the lead. But now Mr. Racing has the slipstream. We'll see if that allows him to get caught up by the time they get to the chicane. He is starting to close that gap ever so slightly. We'll see who is the late breaker here as Florinota goes by in the Group 1 car. Does not allow him to get and look to the inside. Oak getting really loose coming out of the chicane, but Oak going to dive into the pits. So he... All right, let's see if we can catch that overtake again. We go watch him at the bottom of the turkey leg again. Oak right behind, going for the better exit here, taking the ideal racing line. Saw Mr. Racing get really sideways going through there, which allowed Oak to have the drive off of the corner and gets that pass done. Well done, Oak. And who did we see off?
Mix Covington and P1 was off track. Florinot is passing him now. Sector 7 Witt did come into the pits. Took his mediums off, put on some softs, took about a quarter tank of fuel. And he's
a little
right
bit
behind,
of a bump there.
Right behind Covington and Florinot now.
Okay. Miss Covington probably isn't going to be out much longer. Only has about an eighth of a tank of fuel left.
Right.
Serves that penalty. Going to let Wid catch up quite a bit. Probably isn't going to get him by the time they get to the chicane, but is going to be right on him by the time they exit. Sure enough, less than half a second behind. It's Covington not going into the pits quite yet. Jorge into the pits for a second time. About 21 minutes left to go.
Yeah, this will definitely be his last. He should come out on the mediums, probably half tank of fuel.
All right, so Florinota, our pole sitter, back up in the lead. 1.3 second gap to Miss Covington. A bigger gap to Wid. You know, Wid had been hanging with Florinota for the first half of this race. Now has a bit of a gap to make up. But yeah, Miss Covington probably going to be coming in here very shortly. And correct me if I'm wrong, is going to need to run the mediums. Or no, or is going to be coming in for another set of softs. He started on the mediums, didn't he?
Yeah, all the GT1s started on mediums.
Yeah.
Jorge did come out on mediums. He's just over half tank of fuel. Hovercraft right behind him came out on the softs with just under half a tank of fuel. So we'll have to see if Hovercraft can run down Jorge.
Yeah, now that he has the tire advantage, that's the time to try to make up some time. Miss Covington going around at least one more time. It looks like the fuel is now in the red. 1.2 second gap to the leader, dealing with lap traffic there. Wid, 2.8 seconds to the leader. Once Mitz comes in. So 20 minutes to go. Half a tank of fuel, some fresh racing softs. Wid is probably good to go to the end. Yeah. Is Florida? I forgot to check. Is Florinota in the same situation with good tires and good fuel?
He came in a couple laps earlier, but he is on softs, just over half a tank of fuel.
Right, so his softs are going to wear just a little bit earlier than Wid's.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Wid's got 20 minutes to try to catch up. Maybe get a pass done in the last couple of laps. We'll see how this unfolds. But they are currently running 1-2, the same order they started in.
Next, going up for another lap.
I guess they're not. I was trying to predict that Miss was going to come in, and Miss proved me wrong, staying out another lap. The fuel tank has got to be on fumes at this point.
Right.
You know, I've been impressed with Florinota. Florinota's really been catching the traffic all at the right time. I don't know if he's been planning that.
And Wid is not.
Yeah, and Wid is not. Wid's really had some bad luck as far as when catching the lap traffic. I don't know if that's bad luck or really good planning on Florinota's part.
Good question.
But Wid right up in the slipstream. Miss Covington kind of helping pull Wid along, helping him catch up to Florinota at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely something both the Group 1 or the GT1 and the GT3 drivers can do. Both can utilize the slipstream for, even though each group is definitely different in their ability to put the power to the track, but you can definitely for a few split seconds use that slipstream.
And Mitt's staying out for yet another lap. I mean, look at that fuel gauge. It is all the way to the bottom.
Oof.
And now they've got hot cornbread in the S's.
Yeah.
Slowing down both Mitz and Wid. They get around now on the straight. Sector 7 Wid trying to go around the outside, heading into the turkey leg, not able to get it done. Mitz Covington able to hold him off. Come out of the turkey leg onto the long stretch. A 7R Wid going to definitely have the slipstream overspeed here by the time they get to the end. He's closing in on him. He may know that Mitz needs to pit, but goes for the pass, heading into the chicane. Oh, a little bit of contact. Oh, Mitz getting really loose, trying to get around that final corner. Mitz finally he's not going to go into the pits.
Yeah,
I think for another lap.
I think
how is he doing this?
I think he meant to go into the pits there, but he was afraid he was going to cut the line, and he brought it back to the
Penalty.
track.
We've got the replay here. Here they are going into the turkey leg. Let's see if... Oh, there's the bump. Heading in, and then as they head on out... Yeah, at this point, they need to get all the way down to the end of the long straightaway before we get to the chicane. The lid was staying right tucked up underneath them. Let's see if we've got this replay all the way to the end or not. Because here they are, heading into the chicane. And just a little bit of a bump on corner entry there. Just enough to get them loose. And yeah, Mitt's trying to... Yep, definitely cut over the line. You called it, Chuck. Going around one more time. I hope he is out of fuel.
Yep.
He's out of fuel on the backstretch.
Oh, no.
So this is going to cost him a lot more time than that 3-second pen would have.
Pete Pap's just about rear-ended him there.
Well, that is heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is.
The only thing you can really do is keep it off the racing line so you don't ruin anybody else's race, and limp it around as you...
Whoa.
Oh my goodness, what reaction time, my lord. Just keep it off the racing line and try not to ruin anybody else's race, and get you back to the pits so you can pop off.
Jorge still holding a 2.3 second lead over Hovercraft in the Group 3 class.
We're just getting to 15 minutes left here, so we've got a quarter of the race left to go. With only a 2-second gap, there's a possibility you can catch him.
There is. He's got the better tire, but he's trying to catch, the 2-time PHG World Series champ.
Yeah, I mean, the raw speed that Jorge can put down, even with the lesser tire, is impressive. Yeah. But we will see. Hovercraft is certainly no slouch. So,
no, absolutely.
I mean, it looks like that gap he's maintaining the gap. So Jorge doing a good job of holding him off. We watch the Group 1 cars deal with lap traffic here.
Mix Covington is back out on track with a set of fresh softs. And fuel.
Back in P7, probably a ways off. P6, unfortunately. 52 seconds behind P6. So, unfortunate. I don't mean to laugh. That is a heartbreaker. Just a bad set of circumstances. We've seen that in the other races. We see B-Paps got caught out without fuel, which I think was a refueling mistake, if I recall. But certainly makes it for a lot of anxiety trying to get back to the pits when you've got both. Hovercraft continuing to try to run down Jorge with the superior tire. And just a little bit less fuel as well, so a little bit lighter. But that gap has stayed right around that 2.1, 2.2 seconds, so he's not really closing the gap much. 13 minutes left to go in this race. The other thing to think about is that Hovercraft's tires will start dying by the end of this. Jorge's on the mediums will still be plenty fresh as we get to the end of this 60 minute
60 hour. That would be a German record, I think.
You gotta push. You gotta push while the tires are good.
Right. And he's got it under 2 seconds now, so he has made up a little bit of time as they go through the turkey leg here. See if he maintains that. Looks like he does. He is closing the gap slightly.
And the question has to be asked, considering what happened to Miss Covington, aka Tuzzum, ducked out of going into the pits. Do you go ahead and still go into the pits and serve that 3-second penalty, or do you, like he did, run out of gas on the backstretch and just kind of do what you can to get back to the pits.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we've got the luxury of being able to think about it for longer than a split second, but clearly running out of fuel would cost him far more than what the 3 seconds would have been having just ducked into the pits.
Yeah.
So, if he could have changed the fuel map to 6 and get further around before running out of fuel, or maybe even make it all the way back, but just running on a lower fuel map, that would have been worth it, but clearly it just didn't work out like that. Again, that's one of those split-second decisions you gotta try to make on the fly, and he just got bumped, leading into that, so was probably a little flustered from that as well. It's hard to compartmentalize all that and still make the right decision.
Oh yeah, we've all been there, and Johnny Boy said the same thing, that he'll take the 3-second penalty, but like I said, that like you said, Sal, that split-second decision you got to make. Sometimes it's not the right decision based on the circumstances surrounding the incident.
We got a good battle shaping up between P12 and P13 with Drobo and Nuke.
Drobo on the racing softs, about halfway worn. Nuke also on the softs, but tires in much better condition. So Nuke may have the grip advantage here. Try to get around, especially heading into the chicane. You see Talon in the Group 1 car go around.
Yeah, Talon holding 4-second lead over Sheldala just for that podium finish. 15 seconds behind Witt, though. I don't think he'll be able to catch him. So right now, if I'm Talon, I'm just racing to hold that podium. Stay ahead of Shell, which we know is no easy task.
Yeah, 4.2 seconds with less than 10 minutes to go is a healthy gap, but it is not a fail-safe by any means.
Right.
He still has to not make any mistakes.
Right. I was going to say, one slip in that 4-second turns into 2.
The gaps at the leader here. Looks like we've got a 1.9 seconds from Florinota to Wid. Again, Wid having slightly better tires, but not closing it down very quickly. I mean, now that we're into the final 10 minutes, this is going to be full try-hard mode for all these drivers. They've been at it for 50 minutes. They've certainly established their flow for the race. They're all comfortable with what their cars can do. So now is the point in time where everybody's probably going to be the fastest. And I just noticed that Wid has taken the fastest lap with a 106.652. So, Florinota being a little impatient with hovercraft there, which has allowed Wid to really close that gap. He was a 1.8 second lead. It is now only a quarter of a second as they head to the bottom of the turkey leg. Florinota got Jorge right ahead of him. Our 2 lead cars for Group 1 and Group 3. Florinota was able to get a better exit out of the bottom of the turkey leg and had put a little bit of a gap on Wid, but Wid in that slipstream is closing it back down ever so slightly. They go into the chicane. Looks like Florinota had a much better exit and run through that chicane than Wid did. It gained 0.2, but then on exit, Wid comes back and has gotten it back under a half a second. They are yo-yoing this gap here. With less than 8 minutes to go, the battle for the lead is on.
Yeah. It looks like Florinota, he's really pushing, going deep into his braking zone. And I think Wid's probably doing the exact opposite, the slow in, fast out technique. Because you can, like you said, you can definitely see that delta yo-yoing with every turn.
Yeah, in certain parts of the track, as you go through turn 1 and through the S's, being fast in is going to be helpful. But now that we're on the second half of the track, as you go through the turkey leg, being fast on exit is far more important than being fast on entry.
Yeah.
With that said, Florinota has extended the gap from a half second to closer to 0.8 seconds. Dive down into the chicane here. Again, Florinota went nice and deep and extended it a little bit, but now Wid coming back on the exit. Less than 7 minutes to go.
And it looks like Jorge in Group 3 is starting to extend his lead a little more. I think Hovercraft's Racing Soft tires are starting to give up on him a little bit. He's over the halfway mark on those left side tires.
Yeah, about halfway down. Really low on fuel. And yeah, 2.6 seconds. Still has a 12-second lead over Oak in P10. So it's pretty healthy podium position here to hold on to.
And then right behind him,
We go check in with Oak in P10. Oak was in a battle with Mr. Racing there for a while, but now has a 2.6 second gap over Mr. Racing. So Oak hoping to hold on to the last of the podium positions for Group 3.
We'll see if his tires hold out for 5 more laps.
Yep, less than 6 minutes to go. Looks like he's only got about 20% of that front left tire left. Yeah, it might be rough as we get to the end of this race. It's probably rough now. I mean,
Right.
Mr. Racing has a lot more tire, about half the tire left on that front left.
It looks
If
like
we check back in with our leader,
B Paps in P5 is closing down on Sheldologist for P4.
yeah, but right now the battle is really for the lead.
Yep.
Wid has it under a half second. And we've seen coming out of the turkey leg here is where Wid seems to get a little bit of a better run off. See if he can do that. Being so close. Nope, doesn't get it this time. He needs a good run out so he can use that slipstream to slingshot his way around. Not going to get it this lap. But with 5 minutes to go, has probably 5 more opportunities to get this done.
Nuke did get by Drobo
Yeah, Duke.
for P12.
Okay. Yep, and the leaders are coming up on these guys as well. Nuke has extended that lead over Drobo. So after getting that pass on, they were side by side back at the Group 1s, right next to Florinota, but they get through as they get into the S's, but now they've got Nuke holding them both up. Are either of them going to push the issue and try to make the pass? No, they're both patient. Come out of this corner, onto the short straightaway. Still nose to tail. That really bunched them up. This could be the opportunity for Wid if he can stay tucked up behind him and get a good exit out of this corner here, which he does. He's closing the gap. Oh yeah, Florinota's tires are down. Wid with better tire heading into the heavy braking zone of the chicane. Less than 2/10. Let's see if he can make this pass done.
He really just
this last couple of laps are going to be real interesting here.
Yeah.
Doesn't quite go for it yet.
There it
Still
is.
being
There it
patient.
is.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
better exit. There it is. Gets the
Set
pass
that up
done.
nicely.
That was a good setup.
Yeah.
Man, he made him think that he was going for the pass in the chicane, and then he just backed out of it.
Yep.
Got the better exit out of the chicane, which is an easier pass to do than in the braking zone. Well done, Wid.
Yes.
See if we can capture a replay of this. Watch as Wid comes in again, gives him the gap. Florinota goes deep on the entrance of the chicane, which compromises his exit. Wid going through it nice and smooth. Gets the pass done going through those final corners.
Yes. That was
Having
good.
a lot, managing his tires to this point of the race was probably all the difference in that pass there. He had
Yeah.
the grip and was able to hold on to it. Florinota just wasn't quite able to get the car slowed down. He's trying everything he could to stay in the lead, but it compromised the exit coming out of the chicane. All right, Talon still holding on to that podium position in P3. Sheldala just trying to run him down, but with only 2 minutes left to go, has a 3.3 second gap to make. And Shell's tires are have seen better days as well. Down to about a quarter of that front left to go. Ooh, some contact with Drobo.
Drobo!
Drobo into the wall after the contact with the Group 1 car of Sheldologist. Let's watch this as Sheldo, as he's coming by, he's going to take the outside, waits for Drobo to cut in. Does, but Drobo, it just sort of like floats out. Sheldo is able to keep it pointed the right direction, but Drobo, his car got loose. He didn't spin it all the way around, but into the
Could that
wall.
be a tire wear issue probably from Drobo? What do you guys think?
Very
Yeah,
possible.
quite possibly. Yeah, that final corner in a Group 3 car, if you keep it pinned, you need the whole track to make that work. With worn tires and a car to your outside, yeah, I mean, that little bit of contact may have been just enough to kind of send the car around. Only a minute to go. He's only going to have to go one more lap around, thankfully, because those tires are dead zone. Jorge, though, well out in front, 4.3 second lead over Hovercraft. Again, with only like one more lap to go. It's like Jorge, as long as he doesn't make any mistakes, Jorge is human.
I don't know if he's going to make one more lap with that fuel.
This fuel is very low. But we did see Miss Covington run like 2 more laps with the fuel blinking. And it was that 3rd lap that finally did him in. There we go, Hovercraft going down the backstretch. His teammate, S7R Wid, currently in the lead in the Group 1 class, gets around. Heading to the start-finish line with 7 seconds left, looking like we're going to have one more victory lap here for Wid. He's going to cross the line. Florinota going to come across after time has expired. Florinota going to take the checkered flag for P2.
Oh, Hovercraft. He made it because he just crossed the line right as time expired. Oak will be just fine too because he was pretty low. With
Allen coming across the line in P3. Sheldologist comes across the line in P4. 19-second lead over B-Paths, who's still on the backstretch. As the Truth Serum only a half second behind. Looks like may not quite have enough time to get that pass done. B-Paths going to come across in P5. The Truth Serum, P6. And Miss Covington right behind in P7 as well. Didn't realize they were right there. But it looks like Jorge and Wid are winners in the Group 1 and Group 3 class. Both timed it perfectly that they get a parade lap.
Right?
Nice and easy. Go around the track. Well done. S7R's Wid, PHG's Jorge Sr.
Yes.
On their win in their respective classes here at Road Atlanta.
And according to Fernando, regarding the incident with Drobo, he says he ran right into the zone and hit a high pressure bubble. Let us know in basic speak what you mean by that, in normie speak, please.
Sounds like he's talking about the weather.
All right.
But there we go, our finishing results. Papa, you want to take us through it?
Absolutely. We have Sector 7's Wid in his Audi with also the best lap with a 106.652 for best lap for the race. But he comes in P1. Congratulations. Right behind him, we have Florinota. P3 is Talon, finishing out the podiums. Nice job, you guys. P4, Mr. PHG Sheldologist. P5 is Mr. B. Pabst. P6 is Sector 7's The Truth Serum. And rounding out the Group 1 GT1 class, we have Mix Covington coming in P7. Then the winner of the Group 3 cars, we have Jorge Sr. with Sector 7's Hovercraft right behind him. Sector 7 Mr. Racing in P3. K. Naranjo or Oak in P4. Sector 7 Nuke in P5. Drobo in P6. And rounding out that for the Group 3 field, we have VIP Cornbread, P7.
It's interesting that Mr. Racing finished ahead of Oak. Oak had gotten around him and was ahead by 2 some odd seconds the last time we had checked in with him. So
Yeah.
something must have happened at the end there while we were focused in on the battle up at the front. But
Right.
good race by all the different drivers here in that one. I don't know about you guys. I was surprised at how clean that actually was. We only saw a couple of incidents. The Group 1 cars managed the Group 3 traffic pretty well. What do you think, Chuck?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, we definitely did see a little bit of door banging and a little bit of rubbing, but all in all, the drivers all kept it real nice and clean, and you love to see it. Some very fair, good, hard, clean racing.
Yep, absolutely. Papa, what were your thoughts on the race?
I think it was about what we expected. The Group 1 cars, Florinota kept catching him in the right place. Wid was not catching him very well at all. It was just a matter of being patient. Group 3 cars given as much room as possible when possible. It was, like I said, there wasn't many accidents, so to speak. I mean, we saw the truth serum with his one spin, but Oak had a spin. There was a couple spins, but nowhere near as bad as it could have been. But it was still action packed with all the passing and the different tire strats. Everybody kept closing in on each other. It was running out of fuel. We had a little bit of everything in that race.
Yep, absolutely. Right. All right. So with that being said, we need to nominate our drivers of the race. Papa, I'm going to give you first shot at this one.
Oh, first shot. I am going to go. I'm going to go with Jorge, I think. I think with him being able to hold off P2 coming up behind him, even though he was on the harder compound tire, he just had to outlast what Hovercraft had on his soft tires, and he did, and was able to pull away a little bit more and secure his win.
All right. Jorge is your pick. Mustang Chuck, who's your driver of the race?
Yeah, I got to agree with you, Pops. Jorge's just dominance from the start to the end of the race. It's always impressive to see. But if it was my call for driver of the race is Wid, our GT1 winner, because of that masterfully planned pass right there at the end of the race. It was just incredible to see. Sal, you took us through it turn by turn, and he kind of made him think he was going one way, and then passed him another. And I think that was just a great thing to see. So that's going to be my call is Wid.
Yeah, absolutely well deserved. That was going to be my pick, so you stole it from me. But yeah, and honestly, with the bad luck that really Wid was running into when it came to catching the lap traffic, that he was able to stay with it and be able to make that pass at the end makes that all the much more impressive. And with that being said, though, I'm going to give my driver of the race to Florinota. Florinota started on the pole, was in first place for a large part of this race, and was able to manage his tires. And either was lucky or planned it very well when he was able to catch the lap traffic and get around them with relative ease. Florinota is going to be my driver of the race. So we've got the poll up in the chat. So those of you out there watching in YouTube land, make sure to go ahead and click on who you think your driver of the race is. While you're clicking things, remember to hit those like and subscribe buttons for Mr. Casual's channel here. Mr. Casual's doing a great job behind the scenes, showing us all these camera angles and what we got going on. That being said, we're going to take a quick break as we get ready for the Split 3 race, which will be coming up shortly. So stick around. We'll see you guys when we get back.
Be right back, don't move! PHG World Series, Season 4!
Watch the lanes, hold the line.
One more lap, then we fly.
shaking from the call. Tires hot, the clocks stay mean. Every split cuts clean.
PHG,
PHG,
hold that roar in your chest. PHG,
PHG,
we're coming back for the rest. PHG, PHG,
take the lead.
PHG, PHG,
Chase the speed.
one more round, we're
Back inside.
PHG, PHG, burn tonight. Turn it up. Feel that pulse.
Hands on the wheel.
Eyes on the goal. PHG, PHG,
Take the lead.
PHG, PHG,
Chase the speed. One more round, we're back inside.
PHG, PHG, burn tonight.
Oh, rise up now. Oh, hear that shout.
Steel and thunder, side by side.
PHG keeps the fire alive.
PHG, PHG,
Take the lead.
PHG, PHG,
Chase the speed. One more round, we're back inside.
PHG, PHG, burn tonight.
Be right back.
Keep the feet alive.
PHG World Series
We'll return.
in stride. Hey, we're almost there.
Hold your line, hold your fire.
PHG in the air.
Season 4, take it higher. Higher, higher.
Pit lane, open wide, tires fresh, hearts alive. Fuel up, lock and tight, we'll be back in a minute's time. Grid map, clean and bright, gloves on, set for flight. Keep that spark in view, the next green flag's coming soon. Hands up, don't drift away, we're just on a short delay. Eyes up, stay with the ride, we'll hit that track on the other side.
PHG, PHG, be right back with me. PHG, PHG, keep that energy. PHG, PHG, feel that heartbeat rise. PHG, PHG, we're back in a flash tonight. Curbs cut, apex call, heat is thick and the pace won't stall. Crowd sound, wave by wave, every lap got a name to save.
Blue flags, clean pass through, fresh rubber, nothing to lose. Stay tuned, don't fade out, we're almost ready to scream it out. Hands up, don't drift away, we're just on a short delay. Eyes low, stay with the ride, we'll hit that track on the other side. PHG, PHG,
Be right back with me.
PHG, PHG,
Keep that energy.
PHG, PHG,
Feel that heartbeat rise.
PHG, PHG.
We're back in a flash tonight. Yeah, keep it locked. You know what time it is. PHG World Series Season 4. When we return, it's full send. No chill, just wheels.
Don't go far. Stay where you are. Drums roll, spirits climb. We're crossing back in perfect time. PHG, PHG,
Be right back with me.
PHG, PHG,
Keep that energy.
PHG, PHG,
Feel that heartbeat rise.
PHG, PHG.
We're back in a flash tonight.
Hold that tear.
Keep it near.
PHG is here.
We're back. We're back. Be right back. Don't move. PHG World Series Season 4.
Watch the lanes, hold the line.
One more lap, then we fly.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, from that break. Hope everybody got to refill whatever beverages they were consuming. Looks like we wrapped up our driver of the split vote, and no surprise, Sector 7's Wid took the win on that one. So congratulations,
Whoop,
Wid,
whoop.
on both winning the driver of the race and the race itself. So
And fast
good job there.
You just
And
took
you
it
got the
all.
fastest lap. Wid's just cleaning
Mhm.
house today. All right, with that said, let's go and thank our sponsors who help make this entire league possible. Papa, I'll let you kick it off.
All right, here we go with SimNet. SimNet Racing is focused on delivering high-quality, affordable sim racing hardware, highlighted by their SP Pro load cell pedal set, designed to provide precise braking feel, consistency, and improved control for competitive drivers. Built by sim racers for sim racers, their products strike the perfect balance between performance and accessibility.
Don't forget the discount code.
Oh, the discount code, yes. PHGGTWS for an 8% discount. Sorry about that. Make sure you use that thing, though. Just because I don't say it, you better use it.
All right. So our next sponsor is Paul Davis. With decades of experience in residential and commercial restoration, Paul Davis Restoration is a trusted leader in emergency services, water and fire damage restoration, mold remediation, reconstruction, and large loss recovery. Their commitment to professionalism, rapid response, and customer care has made them a respected name across the industry.
And then, of course, we have 4D Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 4D sim racing shoes are custom engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, and still provide all the comfort needed for those double and triple stints. Visit 4dracewear.com and check out the original racing gloves for your feet. And don't forget, if you place an order, use discount code PAPA10X to get 10% off of your order.
And then, of course, we have MCW. MCW delivers high-quality sim racing gear, including custom GT-style wheel replicas and premium accessories built for performance, precision, and immersion, especially with the Fanatec ecosystem. You can find them at mcw-simhardware.com.
All right. And then after this, let us check out Once again, we'll revisit the round information. Papa, can you take us through what we are going to be watching these drivers race in?
I can, yes, we are watching, this is Split 3, Round 4 of Season 4. We are at Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta. 60-minute endurance race. Racing mediums and racing softs are required. Tire wear is set at 2. Fuel consumption is set at 2 with a 3 liter per second refuel rate. We are in the GT1 and GT3 classes again. And again, our theme is Audi versus Porsche.
Right. No. And now we should be watching or we should go to the splits, and we should
Yep.
check and see. Chuck, can you run us through who is going to be racing in Split 3 today?
Of course. So in the GT1 class, we've got PHG's own Leo, followed by PHG Ecstasy. Fernando Button follows Ecstasy. BK2 Johnny Boy follows Fernando. BHR's Old Man Pip is next. And PHG Skellington, who's down in the chat, he is down there. And then Messi has not set a time. And then in the GT3 class, we've got Tommy Turismo, followed by PHG Slick SHVR2, fellow VR driver. After that, we've got NVR Maverick, and that is followed by Beavis75. And then next up is PHG Nasty, followed by PHG Strychnine and PHG Tatum rounding out the field.
Interesting. We're seeing PHG Strychnine running in the Audi. I don't think we saw any Audis in that first split. Subsequently, I think everybody was in the Audi R18 in the first split as well. I don't remember seeing any Porsches in there,
I
and it
believe
looks
you are
like
correct.
we may be seeing the same thing in this split. So, Audi Fest in Group 1, a Porsche Fest in Group 3. I'm kind of interested to see what Strychnine does in that Audi.
No.
No. All right, so leading into the Split 3 race, I mean, we just got done watching Split 1, and we saw some good, clean racing there. Are we expecting a bit more chaos here in Split 3? Papa, let's start with you.
I mean, the chances are always there. Honestly, I bet we see it pretty much about the same. I think a lot of patients are going to be seen, and I think you can see a lot of different tire strats has helped spread out the field a little bit more. I mean, even though these guys are in Split 3, their times honestly weren't that far off of our Split 1 drivers. So these guys are just really just as talented as our Split 1 drivers. I would expect to see, maybe a couple spins again, but I bet we still see fairly a clean race.
Yeah, I can't imagine the whole thing will be clean, but yeah, I
Yeah.
you're probably not wrong in that we hope to still see some good patient driving,
Yeah.
some good clean racing here. Chuck, did anything really stand out to you in that first race that was unexpected?
No, I really don't think there's anything that stood out to me that was unexpected. We definitely pride ourselves in our community about racing hard, racing clean. You run up next to somebody and you're not going to dump them on purpose, right? Which is something you always love to see, and I expect to see that also with our Split 3 drivers as well as the rest of the drivers throughout the weekend. They're going to race you hard, but we're also going to race you clean.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the one thing that surprised me was how many drivers did the two-stop strat. I was kind of expecting to see a lot more drivers do the
I would agree with
one-stopper.
that.
I mean, I'm not totally surprised that Jorge did it. He likes to do just raw speed. Whatever's going to make him the fastest is what he's comfortable doing. But I was surprised that as many drivers did the same thing. I mean, we saw both strats play out. Wid did the one stopper and won, and Jorge did the two stopper and won. So,
Yeah.
we know that they're both viable to do. I mean, again, this goes to the genius that is Shaggy putting these together to make it so that it isn't just a single strat kind of race.
Right.
But yeah, I mean that surprised me a little bit. But I mean, other than that, it was a really good race,
to great positions.
and it sounds like we are about to get this race underway.
Let's
Drivers
go.
headed to their cockpits. And in this one, we've got Leo up on the pole. Leo Las Vegas, one of the PHG OGs, running in his fancy liveried Audi R18.
And again, all the GT1 cars are starting on the racing mediums.
Looks like somebody.
Okay.
It looks cool, but what that paint scheme as we go green here reminds me of gas splashed all over it.
Yeah, it does kind of look that way. All right, as they head into turn one, here they go, nice and fast for their Ecstasy. Really got up behind it, but lost a little bit on the corner exit there. Leo pulling away just a little bit. Leo off into the grass, but keeps it a little bit of close racing back there in P3 and P4. And a bit of a gap from P4 to P5, but everybody seems to be keeping it on track just fine. Almost went a little wide heading out of that fast left-hander, but it doesn't look like anybody picked up a penalty, at least not up in P1 or P2. The battle for P3 and P4 seems to have settled down between Fernando and BK2 Johnny Boy as they head on to the backstretch. Johnny Boy here with a gap over PHG Raider, who I believe is a last-minute entry into this particular race. Took a provisional spot. Ecstasy keeping tucked in really close to Leo. Leo not able to get away one lap into this race, but there is a bit of a gap from P2 to P3. Here they go, Ecstasy able to close that gap a little bit as they head into the high-speed turn one. Leo gets it down to the apex, keeps it in. Ecstasy does the same. Good, clean run through turn one. Leo eating up all sorts of curb there and ends up bouncing that front end, losing the grip and going off into the grass. Get that cone out of here. But losing a spot to Ecstasy, did not take a penalty. Must have lifted off the gas. But let's watch this again. Papa, can you take us through it?
Like I say, he just kind of hit that curve right there. Just a little too much. And when your tires ain't on the ground, you ain't turning.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
So
that's exactly what we talked about.
Yep.
You know, in the pre-race and when we watched the Rossi lap, is that, you know, you eat up that curb too much. It is the fastest time if you can keep the car stable. And that car did not stay stable. Leo losing a spot, but still lucky to not having spun it around, stays in P2.
Yeah, you know, Ecstasy was just back there lurking and, you know, waiting for a mistake from Leo. And that's one of my favorite tactics. I always say is, you know, just, hey, I'm right here. What are you going to do?
Let's see, an Ecstasy pulling a bit of a gap there. Let's see, we've got a replay here.
P9.
Oh, there was Slick there. It looks like he spun coming out of the turkey leg, getting onto that long straightaway. Was not able to keep it pointed in the right direction. All right, as we check back in with our leaders, Ecstasy has been able to pull about a 0.9 second, almost a full second gap over Leo. Definitely got a better exit out of the turkey leg there. Has extended it up to almost 1.2 seconds. And then P3 and P4. P3, 4, and 5 still relatively close to each other. Fernando holding on to the podium spot. PHG Raider trying to hunt him down. His Raid liveried Audi R18. That is a bright red car.
Hey, I'm really liking the paint scheme on Raiders car. I always say that the Gulf livery always really, you know, looks good on anything it's on.
Raider had a heck of an exit through that set of corners there, right up tucked behind Fernando, going through the S's. Gonna try to get the pass done coming through one of these exits. We got the short straight here where you can just stay tucked in. As we go through the bottom of the turkey leg, really looking to have a better exit and could try to slingshot around on the long straight. Looks like he did get a better exit, really tucking up behind Fernando. That slipstream should propel him and give him the overspeed needed. Let's see if he can get this done. Looks like he's not quite closing as fast as we thought, but as we get to the braking zone, Raider does duck out, does brake later, does get a
Nice
great pass
pass.
done. Well done
Nice.
pass by Raider. Now Fernando going to see if he can fight back and see if he can stay in the slipstream or if Raider's going to drive away. BK2 Johnny Boy is still in the picture as well. Not too far behind Fernando. All right, we check in with the Group 3 leaders.
You had that R8 that you were curious about, so he's helping the lead down over Tommy Turismo.
E2 in the class. Awesome. Now, Papa, did you check the tires on the Group 3 class? I know you said they're all racing mediums in GT1.
Yep. So we do have Strychnine is on the racing softs, and as well as K-Dub in P12 and Slick in P13. The other four are on the racing mediums.
Okay, so the front runners on the racing mediums going to make those soft tire runners work to try to see if they can get those passes done.
Yeah, Tommy Turismo is doing really well with his racing mediums, holding off Strychnine here, who is on the racing soft. So
yeah, Strychnine started like second to last.
Yeah, he's
sixth in class.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's made up a lot of time. Oh, it looks like Amarillo Dash there in last place in the Group 3 class must have had an issue and is now going to be lapped by Ecstasy here on lap 6. Really early on. Leo going to make the pass as well. Looks like they caught him at the right time on the straightaway. Raider, on the other hand, having to deal with him, but Amarillo Dash gives him the inside line. Raider able to get by with minimal loss of speed. I'm going to go to the replay, see if we can catch what happened to Amarillo Dash here. Be back in P14. Looks like he lost it just coming through turn 1.
Yep. So easy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're trying to carry so much speed through there that if you just lose the front end, the car just seems to just drive straight in a spot where you do not want it to drive straight.
Right.
Ecstasy and Leo still running fairly similar lap times. Ecstasy was at a 1.2 second lead last time we checked in. It's like Leo has closed the gap ever so slightly. They're pretty much on about the same pace. Raider, though, has caught way up to Leo at this point and will likely be pressuring him relatively soon. PHG Raider currently with the fastest lap of the race with the 108.521. Fastest car on track. Now within 0.6 to Leo as they go down the long back stretch. Let's see if he can make a similar move going into the braking zone. Ecstasy being patient around the Group 3 is... Oh, there was contact between P12 and P13 there, which allowed Ecstasy an easy pass.
Hopefully we can get a
Raider
replay
might have
on.
gotten caught up in that a little bit.
Yeah, I think he and Leo was in the braking as that was happening, and Raider just kind of gave him a little love tap in the butt there, and they just kept on going.
Raider's still all over the back of Leo, going for the pass in the
door to door.
Leo into the grass. Now Raider's
back.
tucked up behind Nasty. They were 3 wide there for a second. Leo still behind Raider, or next to Raider. Raider's going to have the inside line for these next 2 corners, though. Easily was able to hold on to that pass. Now on to the backstretch. Going to try to use Beavis for just a little bit of slipstream to see if he can stay ahead of Leo. Leo not too far behind, and Fernando has also caught up to Leo and is right on his bumper. Whoa! Strychnine went a little bit wide. Raider taking some evasive action, but able to keep it on track. Good reaction time by Raider. Now Leo and BK2 Johnny Boy having to deal with the lap traffic.
Blitz Strychnine there.
Having a little bit of a problem there, but it looks like they made it through. Getting a little squirrelier, a little more iffy in this one.
A little bit. Not as much patience being shown here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to that replay of the entrance into the chicane here. Let's see, we got to get back up to P1. Yep, as they went and we saw Slick got into the back of was that K-Dub just ahead of him, put K-Dub into the dirt. And then the second and third place runners got into that a little bit. We weren't able to quite see that in the camera angle, but they navigated through it. Nobody lost any positions there, but a little bit of a hairy situation.
Yeah, a little bit.
Ecstasy now with a 1.7 second lead over Raider, but Raider is catching up. Has got it down to a 1.5 second. Getting through that corner there. Looks like Ecstasy holding his own at this point as they come through this fast left-hander. Looks like Raider got quite a bit better exit coming out of there, about a second or a tenth of a second purple even, improving on his fastest lap and the overall fastest lap.
Yeah, we definitely need to keep an eye on Raider. I think Raider is going to be a threat as he catches up to Ecstasy here in the next couple laps, because you look at that interval counting down, he's definitely going to be a threat.
Yeah.
It certainly seems that way. Leo has fallen back. Is now 4.4 seconds behind Raider. But still 2.6 seconds ahead of Fernando. So on a bit of an island here, able to run some time trial laps. We still got quite a few laps to go before we start seeing that kind of endless passing between the Group 1 and Group 3 cars. Let's see, did Ecstasy go? Oh, Ecstasy went off into the grass a little bit there. I think we missed it on the camera angle. Oh, and picks up a half-second penalty as well.
That's going to hurt a little bit.
Yep, and the gap to P2 is less than half a second. Should be a gimme pass here for Raider as they get onto the backstretch. The penalty mark or the penalty line here is really tough because it's at the beginning, or not the beginning, right in the middle of this long straight. You lose quite a bit of time, and now he has a full 1 second penalty, which he's going to serve right now. Raider's going to drive on by. And may even let Leo to kind of get back into the mix here, to be able to battle for P2.
Yeah, Raiders just, that was a thank you moment.
Wave as he goes by.
Yeah.
I will take that. Thank you very much.
Big thumbs up. And knowing Ecstasy, he's kicking himself too.
Yep. All right, as we're checking with Group 3, it looks like first, second, and third place in Group 3 are nose to tail.
Yeah.
We've got a good battle here going on for the lead in the Group 3 class. PHG Strychnine and that Audi R8 leading the field, but also on the racing soft tires. Looks like he's gotten those worn down about a third of the way or so far, and we are a little over 13 minutes into the race.
Yeah, he did just finally get by Tommy there right before we went on board here.
Okay. And then Beavis not very far behind.
Beavis having a good run so far.
Hey, Beavis, racing is cool.
And Beavis really has a really good vantage point for watching these two battle it out. If he's patient enough and can just let these guys sort of have at it and just be ready to pounce when the opportunity arises. And the opportunity was almost right there as he had a little bit better exit than Tommy Turismo, but wasn't quite able to maintain the speed coming out of that corner exit. But that's allowing Strychnine to get away a little bit.
Yeah, that's one of those instances where Beavis probably backed off a little bit, let Tommy collect the car. But it's early in the race. I wouldn't anticipate Beavis letting off the gas toward the end of the race if that happens.
Yeah, early on in the race here, and the fact that P1, 2, and 3 in the class are also close together,
Yeah.
this might be an opportunity for Beavis and Tommy Turismo to work together
Right.
to keep
right.
P1 in their sights. If they start battling, that's going to allow Strychnine to run away.
Yeah.
Especially with Strychnine being on the superior tire. Now they may not know that. If they're listening to the broadcast, they would know that.
Right.
And could have again, if they work together and can kind of keep up with them, while he burns up his soft tires, that could make it so that when they switch the better compound later on, they would have the advantage. But
Right.
it takes a lot of patience for a driver to be like, you know what, I'm going to let you lead for a while.
Right. It does.
I'm going to help you, even though
Especially
you're
in a
ahead
race
of me.
like this.
Absolutely. But there is still 3/4 of this race left to go. We have passed the 15-minute mark, 44 and a half minutes left in this race. Plenty of time for things to unfold. But Beavis not letting Tommy Turismo get away at all. We have a good battle in GT3. How about we check in with the leaders of GT1, see where they're at? They are probably coming up on lap traffic again. Raider has pulled himself a 2.6-second gap over Ecstasy. Ecstasy does have Leo in his slipstream, so Leo was able to catch up after that penalty was served and is definitely in slipstream range. See if he can stay caught up with Ecstasy. Ecstasy had pulled away earlier on in the race, but now that Leo's got the slipstream back and maybe that he's gotten his nerves calmed down, can stay caught up to him. PHG Raider dealing with lap traffic and K-Dub with easy pass.
Let's see. Catch a
go.
K-Dub chicane. K-Dub going a little wide. Did they keep it straight?
That's got to be so tough for Slick to really see that in VR because you know it's really hard to gauge your situational awareness when you're in VR.
Right.
There we go. SSC was able to get around. Leo able to get around easily, catching at the right time. Fernando back here in P4 with BK2 Johnny Boy not too far behind. Looks like these two have been battling since the beginning and are continuing to do so. They will get around the lap Group 3 car of K-Dub well before we get to the braking zone in the chicane. Then if we go back to P6 and Jack Skellington, who has Old Man Pip close in tow. They are a bit behind P5, about 11-second gap there, but P6 and P7, they've got a battle for hashtag not last in the Group 1 category. Let's see, Raider coming into the bottom of the turkey leg.
We missed, looks like Strychnine made his pit. I didn't even see that, but yeah, he's come off his racing softs. He's back on the race, where he's currently on the racing mediums with just almost a full tank of fuel.
What position is he in?
He's in 14th right now.
Okay, so back in last, being the first pitter.
Yep.
A little less than 20 minutes on that set of racing softs. I don't know. Is the Audi harder on tires than the Porsche is?
Being as meta as the Porsche is right now in GT7, a good chance of it, but I don't know. He took a full tank of fuel. He may be doing a one-stop. He may have just riding this to the end now.
Yeah, well, with more than 40 minutes to go, he's probably going to may not have to do any fuel saving. I think we saw in the last race that the drivers only filled up to about 3/4 when they were at the halfway point. So filling up to full, he may be good to go till the end. It's just a matter of making those racing mediums last. He's going to have to baby those tires a little bit. But that gives Tommy Turismo the lead back in the Group 3 class. So now it's just between Tommy and Beavis for the P1 to P2 spot. Again, looking to be fairly patient. Beavis has, or I should say Tommy's gotten a little bit of a gap. 0.7 seconds. They're not right nose to tail, but still within slipstream range. Go cruising down the backstretch. And there is a 2.9 second gap from Beavis back to PHG Nasty. PHG Nasty holding on to that podium position so far. We are 1/3 of the way through the race, just past the 20-minute mark, with 40 minutes left to go. Old Man Pip coming up on the lap traffic there. Easily dispatching Beavis, and now getting around Tommy Turismo on the straight. Gets that pass done before turn 1, which is definitely what you want to do. But Tommy Turismo goes a bit deep into turn 1. That allowed Beavis to get right up on his bumper and looked like he might have touched the grass ever so slightly. Thankfully did not go off into the grass fully and then into the wall. Was able to hold on to it. That was probably a scary moment behind the wheel. Let's see if we got that on replay. Tommy Turismo, he lets the Group 1 car pass, and you can see he gets off the racing line, gets out there, does touch the grass, but then thankfully the runoff curbing was able to give him the grip back and keep him on the track. Had he not hit that curbing, I think that car might have shot off into the grass at that point.
Yeah.
So really sketchy moment. Hopefully that's the maybe the one scary moment for Tommy this race.
Right.
He's got to calm back down.
Fingers
and,
crossed.
Just stay in first place. He's still ahead of Beavis, but Beavis is definitely closer at this point. They finish up lap 16. Tommy trying to pull a little bit of a gap again. Here he goes into turn 1. No other cars to distract him. Yep, definitely staying on the racing line that time. No issues there. You can see he might have been a little ginger with it. Beavis did close the gap ever so slightly going through turn 1. I don't know if that happens to you guys, but with me, if I mess up a corner the next time through, I dial it back, and then I end up being like, now I took it too slow.
Yep. I do it all the time.
And then on the next lap, you're like, I gotta put the hammer down again, and then you make the same mistake you made before.
Yeah.
And you kind of get into this head game with yourself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Slick is in the pits getting off his racing softs, I'm assuming. Let's see if he is going for the 2 stops, if he puts another set on.
And Sal, you mentioned about the mental games and racing, whether it be more so real life racing than sim racing, but racing is definitely a mental game and a physical game. You got to really lock in and keep yourself in the right headspace throughout the race to be able to react to any kind of issues that may happen across the race, because you get into the race and an incident you didn't plan for happens. You got to be able to react and keep your head in the game.
Well, Slick is still in the pits. It looks like they're having issues with their mud wrench, maybe, because they're just sitting there.
Well, that is interesting. We did see, Chuck, while you were talking there, that PHG Raider, Ecstasy had really closed in on him. And then as he was coming through the bottom of the turkey leg, Ecstasy had kind of outbraked himself, trying to get on the long straight. And then Raider was able to pull quite a bit of a gap there, getting back on there. But yeah, PHG Slick just sitting in the pits.
Looks like we have engine failure from Fernando.
Oh
no.
Fortunately, we've seen that from Fernando from a couple different rounds where he's going to have to get a new mechanic to try to operate on that car. And Ecstasy again goes deep in that second corner of the turkey leg, not getting the drive off of the corner. Honestly, is not losing as much time as I was expecting, but Raider certainly had a better exit coming out of there. They approach the lap traffic. Raider gets around no problem before the chicane.
Leo has definitely lost pace. He's now over 11 seconds back to S to C, or up to S to C, but he's got Johnny Boy all over him for that P3 position.
Yeah, I wonder if Leo's lost pace or if the other drivers have just gotten comfortable sooner getting into here as S to C reaches up to some lap traffic that he was having to deal with in the S's there. Leo there getting through turn one, making his way through that tight right-hander that cost him some time early on in the race. Looks like he did not eat up the curb that time around like he had earlier on, which was probably giving him a better lap time, but unsettled the car, may have also unsettled his nerves.
Right?
And once again, that plays back into the mental game too, right? You really gotta, keep your head in the game and try to, okay, a mistake was made, move forward.
K-Dub there serving a half-second penalty back to P10. Allows Leo to get around. PK Johnny Boy approaching him as well. And gets him in the braking zone. Compromises time through the chicane, but whoa! Johnny Boy gets really sideways. Off into the grass a little bit. He spent like a half mile trying to gather that thing up, but did gather it up.
Oh,
see that again.
What a master class of control.
Right.
See as he comes out of the chicane here, gets that thing really sideways into the grass, still sideways, and then finally gathers it up before getting into the final corner. Wow, that could have gone so wrong, but it did. Good job gathering it up. BK2 Johnny Boy. And we got Old Man Pip back here in P5 trying to chase Johnny Boy down. Got a 12.5-second gap to make up, but has a 5-second lead over P6, Jack Skellington. Jack just kind of putting in a quiet race here, who has a 3-minute lead. Oh, yeah, because that's right. We lost Fernando, so we only have 6 cars in GT1 now. So P7 is now our GT3 leader.
I love how you just said that so casually. Where he has a 3-minute lead. That was great.
Well, I'm like, that's what it says. But
right.
I'm like, wait a second. Then it registered.
That was
yeah,
good.
if we go on with Nasty here, Nasty is leading the Group 3 field at this time. Looks like he is not pitted yet, which may be why Tommy Turismo back in P2. I would imagine Tommy may have pitted. No, Tommy hasn't pitted yet. Tommy must have had an issue. Tommy and Beavis were running 1-2, and now Nasty's in the lead. Something must have happened between those two to allow Nasty to get by both of them.
Right. Yeah, Nasty was pretty quick, but I did not that quick. That all of a sudden we have a 3.5-second lead. They must have got into one another.
Yes, lap 18. We can see on the right-hand side, Beavis had a minute 31 lap time, 11 seconds off of his normal pace. I'm sure if we check in with Tommy Turismo, we will probably see the same thing.
Yep, exactly.
Minute 29 on lap 18, so certainly an issue there. 10 seconds. They probably both went off the track entirely. 10 seconds is a long time to have missed out on, which gifts PHG Nasty P1 for now. So, shake up in Group 3. Nasty just putting in steady laps. It's like a minute 20, minute 21 lap times. Doing well. Gives plenty of room to Old Man Pip there to get by in the Group 1 class.
And it does look like Leo, based on his lap time, he's settled back in. He's starting to drop some 109s again. So, and he's starting to pull away from Johnny behind him.
Getting his nerves back under control.
Yeah, Leo.
All right, looks like we got K-Dub and PHG Slick both in the... Well, Slick has been in the pits, but K-Dub in the pits as well. Fueling it all the way up. Let's see, was on the racing soft tires as he comes out. We will check and see if he is still on the softs or not. It isn't until they get to exit that it reveals what tires they switch to.
I love the refuel on these Porsches. With the gas man right over the hood.
Looks like K-Dub did switch to the mediums and a full tank of fuel with only 30 minutes to go. Definitely on the one-stop strat. But that does show that the Porsches can make it halfway through the race on the racing softs. We check back in with PHG. Raider up in P1 has pulled a 3.8 second gap over PHG Ecstasy. Ecstasy was right on him for a while, but it appears that Raider has found some pace, or Ecstasy has lost some pace. Raider having to deal with Strychnine in the lap traffic there, but gets around. Ecstasy with a comfortable lead over Leo, 13.4 second gap. Ooh! I don't know if there was a touch there, but the Group 3 car went off into the grass, kept it pointed in the right direction. Let's see the replay here.
Amarillo,
Ecstasy coming on up on Amarillo Dash. Amarillo Dash taking the outside line. Looked like there might have been a little bit of net code there and a slight bump from Ecstasy behind, but it looks like nobody lost too much time in it.
Nope.
But another sketchy moment between the Group 1 and Group 3 classes. Ecstasy picks up a half-second pen. Ooh, off into the grass, trying to pull too much speed. Coming out of the turkey leg. I think that penalty is getting into his head a bit. Whoa, what do we see back there in P5? Well, you know what? That might have just been an optical illusion. I saw the name go flying across the screen back there. Might have just been the camera angle. I thought it was they went off into the wall, but yeah, I think it was just the camera angle. So never mind that. Pay no attention to me.
Turismo is in the pits. Went in on
Right, our P2 driver Beavis still out on the track. Also still on the mediums, getting down to about a third of a tank of fuel.
Oh, Tommy Turismo with the 3-second pin as he comes out of the pits. He did come out on racing softs, but in a half a tank of fuel.
Oh, Tommy Turismo, 3-second penalty. Cut the pit line.
Yeah, so that's going to cost him. He was certainly trying to go for the undercut, get onto those softs sooner than Beavis to maybe pull a little bit of a distance and maybe catch up to Nasty and with the undercut, but that 3-second pen is certainly going to negate that effort entirely. Strychnine in P9 or P3 in the Group 3 class. Looking good on those tires. 27 minutes to go. Plenty of tire left on those mediums and over a half a tank of fuel.
Yeah, he was our early pit, so.
I mean, he pitted with about 41, 42 minutes to go, filled it all the way up. He's almost down to half a tank. He is going to be right on the border as far as being able to make it on fuel. So we'll have to keep an eye on his fuel as the laps wind down. But now that we're about halfway through this race, now might be a good time to crank it up. What do we say, guys?
Go for it. I love to hear the engines sing the song of their people.
All right, crank it up. back. Hope you guys enjoyed hearing the sounds of these cars going around the track. And I want to give a quick shout out to Croatian, who did a number of the graphics for this and definitely put together the crank it up animation per our request. Well done, Croatian, who is had a new baby just as the season was starting off. So congratulations to him as well. Hope him and baby are doing well. I'm sure they are relaxing and enjoying some racing. As we're on board with Beavis there, who was in currently P2 in the Group 3 class. And then Leo here, who is currently in last place in Group 1, but is mostly because he just got done with the pit stop. Has some fresh racing softs and mostly a full tank of fuel. Should be able to make it to the end.
It's going to be close.
Yeah, that's a real interesting
25
strategy.
minutes on the soft, so.
Yeah, and those Group 1 cars, they do burn up the softs quite a bit. We were just talking about the Porsches seem to be able to make it halfway through the race on the softs. The Group 1s, not so much.
Yeah.
You know, dealing with a little bit of lap traffic there, and Tommy Turismo gets by okay.
P8. Beavis is off track in P8 coming out of the S's.
P8. There we are, Beavis. Looks like he is back under power. Does have some worn tires, probably feeling that a little bit. Still has half a full left to go on those racing mediums, but might be feeling the effects slightly. Less than a quarter tank of fuel, though. I'm not sure if that quarter tank is going to make it 22 minutes. Probably has another pit stop in his future. May switch back to the racing softs.
Has he done a pit? I don't think Beavis or...
Oh, you know what? You're probably right.
I don't think he'd won. Yeah, Nasty. I know Nasty hasn't pitted. He's almost out of tires and fuel.
Well, if that's the case, he's actually doing really well on tires. 38 minutes into this race. But yeah, PHG Nasty, the tire definitely further down. Fuel a lot further down as well. It's in that red blinky state.
Beavis seems to be doing really well on managing his race here.
Yeah, absolutely. Both these guys are actually doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Now, it's how long you keep going on these worn mediums, knowing that the softs can make it the rest of the way. The guys that seem to be able to manage their tires are able to get 30 minutes worth out of these racing softs. We're now down to the 21 minutes left. It's probably in these guys' best interest to try to get in and get onto those softs as soon as possible, especially since the fuel is low.
Yeah.
But they may be trying to have as low of a fuel load as possible when they switch onto the softs.
Correct.
Could be part of their strategy as well.
Nasty's going to go one more time around at least.
Unless he pulls a Miss Covington and goes around 3 more times. 2 of those were on purpose. Yeah, those tires have got to be giving him some fits. I mean, it still has a 15-second lead over Beavis.
Raider, our leader, is in.
And PHG Raider, yep. 3% fuel left. S2C also in, but with 8% fuel. So saved 5% of fuel there. That could help with this refuel rate. What is it, a 3 liters per second refuel rate? So he's going to save about a second of time in the pits here. But with the gap being 6.4 seconds, that is of little consolation.
So down in the chat, Croatian Racing, as we just said earlier, designed and animated that graphic for us. He is currently feeding the little one right now while he watches. So, getting him started young, right, my man?
Excellent. Baby Crow listening to the sounds of our people.
Well, S2C with that having to take less fuel did close in about 2.5 seconds on Raider.
Wow.
But old man Pip has yet to pit, and he has taken over the GT1 lead.
S2C getting held up by K-Dub a little bit there, coming out of the S's, but does get around fine. Did lose some time, though. Raiders now stretch that lead back to 3.5 seconds.
We do have Johnny Boy and Jack Skellington in P5 and P6 coming out of the pits right now.
And
Nasty.
looks like our leaders in Group 3, Nasty and Beavis, also in the pits.
Yep. That should hand the lead back over to Strychnine and that Audi.
Yep, it looks like that is what's happened. All right, Nasty filled up to 54% fuel, Beavis to 57% fuel. And then our temporary leader, Old Man Pitt, coming in, giving the lead back to PHG Raider, but we are on board with PHG Strychnine, the current leader in the Group 3 class, who we knew was going to be able to make it the rest of the way after that first pit stop, and now has a healthy 8.4 second lead over Tommy Turismo. Now, with that said, Strychnine is on the medium tire.
And I have to
Tommy
assume he's also
Turismo is
doing
on the
fuel
racing
saving.
softs.
I have to assume Strychnine's doing some fuel saving too, so watch for that 8.3 second delta to come down pretty quick.
And we still have 18 minutes left, so a lot of time to make up that gap.
Yeah, I hope Tommy took enough fuel.
Yeah, he's also down to a quarter tank. Strychnine, how much fuel does Strychnine have? Well over a quarter, right?
About 3/8. Strychnine's coming in.
Oh, yeah.
Strychnine's coming in. Probably gonna get on those softs.
Okay. 8-second lead. He's going to lose the lead here.
Yeah. He shouldn't need much fuel though.
If he's fuel saved, he may not need any, which will make the pit stop that much shorter.
He took about an eighth of a tank.
He did. Okay.
Just under half tank of fuel. That should.
Well, I
get
wonder
him.
if that means that Tommy Turismo may not be able to make it.
Yeah, I'm worried about Tommy.
Yeah, with over, 15 minutes is a quarter of the race. And he's got a quarter of a tank. And we know that they can't make it on one tank of fuel.
Right.
So I wonder if he did not fill up enough or forgot to fill during his last pit stop. He's either going to have to go into some extreme fuel saving, or he's got one more pit stop ahead of him, which PHG Nasty back in P8, 4.5 seconds back, will likely inherit the lead when that happens. I mean, only 4.5 seconds. If he goes into fuel save mode, even if he is able to make the race, complete the race, Nasty's going to catch him fairly easily. He's not far enough behind for that. But Beavis now is 11.7 seconds behind Nasty. Nasty may have.
He's looking pretty good right now.
Strap here. He's looking good.
And just put down his personal best time that lap.
Yep, so Beavis with a half a tank of fuel and on fresh racing softs. Strychnine back in P10 should also have fresh racing softs and just under half a tank of fuel. So we know Strychnine's had some pace. May be able to catch up. K-Dub in P11. Only 1.3 seconds behind Strychnine, but with a little bit of tire wear and also on racing medium, so the slower tire. And more fuel, so a bit more weight.
Yep.
All right, if we check back in with our leaders, let's run through the whole field, shall we? PHG Raider currently leading the Group 1 class. Has over a 3-second lead over Ecstasy. Then in P3, we've got Leo, 17 seconds behind Ecstasy, but 13 seconds ahead of BK2 Johnny Boy. And then right behind Johnny Boy, we've got Old Man Pip, who had pitted just recently and now has fresh rubber, plenty of fuel, and harassing Johnny Boy at this point. And then we've got Jack Skellington back in P6, 16 seconds behind Old Man Pip. And then we come to our provisional GT3 leader, Tommy Turismo, who unfortunately is probably going to have to pit to get some fuel, but has plenty of tire. But currently leading the pack, PHG Nasty, hoping to inherit that lead here shortly. with only a 2.5 second gap to Tommy Turismo. So has already caught up 2 seconds. That tells me Tommy Turismo might be trying to save fuel and make it, but he's going to have to save an awful lot.
Yeah.
P3 in our Group 3 class is Diva 75, 12 seconds off of PHG Nasty, but also set to go to the end. And 3.9 seconds behind him is our lone Audi R8 in PHG Strychnine. Behind Strychnine is K-Dub, who is, certainly stayed caught up to him, even though K-Dub is on the racing medium tire. Strychnine has the superior tire, but K-Dub's been able to stay within his slipstream for the last few laps. And then behind K-Dub, 22 seconds back, we have PHG's Amarillo Dash, who have suffered a couple of little off-track excursions throughout this event, but continuing along. The PHG Slick appears to still have, they're wrenching away on it in the pits there.
Right.
But either that or they're eating ice cream. One of the two.
Ice cream.
Right, and BK2 Johnny Boy into the pits. Now Johnny Boy has, I see, he's coming out of the pits right now. So he just fueled up. Looks like he did not change tires. But just topped off the fuel up to that half a tank and should easily be good to go. We only have 12 and a half minutes left to go in this race. The BK2 Johnny Boy is now set to the end.
Shaggy's down in the chat. He says he's calling it. Nasty wins this in GT3 because he has soft tires and plenty of fuel.
Yep, I think I would concur with that. We've got a battle. Now Nasty has caught up to Tommy Turismo and gets the pass done. They were door to door there, going through the chicane. But Nasty clearing him before the end there. I don't know if we're going to catch a replay of that, but that was a good one. All right, we do. Let's watch this as we're on with Tommy Turismo and Nasty coming up alongside as they get into the braking zone of the chicane. See who's later on the brakes. Nasty definitely later on the brakes. Able to get inside, door to door through the chicane. But good racing, no touching. Well done between both Nasty and Tommy Turismo.
Yeah,
that was good to see.
Yeah, you love to see it. I said it before and I'll say it again. We race each other hard, but we race each other clean.
Now Tommy Turismo is keeping up with Nasty. We thought that maybe Tommy was trying to save fuel to make it to the end. Maybe he's given up on that quest and has cranked it back up and is now just going to hang in with Nasty. Maybe using Nasty to save some fuel just by using the slipstream. But honestly, it's down to less than a quarter tank with 11 minutes to go. I still think that's asking too much, but we'll see how this plays out. There's a reason they're behind the wheel and I'm not. Yeah, Tommy not losing Nasty's rear bumper there. I mean, it looked like Nasty got that, caught up very quick. I mean, he was over 4 seconds back. And it only took a few minutes to catch up to him, and now Tommy's just kind of hanging with him. They get through the S's here. Climb the hill and on out. Drama-free. We got BK2 Johnny Boy, who is about to get put a lap down by Raider as they encounter lap traffic at the same time. Tommy giving them plenty of room to get by. Now, Raider's got a bit of a roadblock in front of him. PHG Nasty stays out of the way. I think Raider hoping to get this pass done before the end of the straight. Does have the overspeed going through the slingshot as they enter the hard braking zone side by side. They remain door to door. Johnny Boy makes him work for it, but Raider gets the pass done. Johnny Boy a little bit of a wiggle coming out of the chicane there, but again keeps it under control. And Ecstasy not too far behind. Ecstasy is now less than a second and a half off.
Yep.
I mean, again, when we saw them come into those pit stops, just a few laps back, Raider had a 6-second lead. That is now down to a 1.5 seconds. They are both on racing softs, are they not? And about a quarter tank of fuel. I think they're pretty even.
Pretty even.
They're pretty even as far as resources go. So looks like S2C may have gotten slowed up a little bit, dealing with BK2 Johnny Boy there, but is continuing to catch Raider. Oh no, he overtook it a little bit going into that corner. So closed the gap on corner entrance, but then Raider's able to pull away on corner exit and maintain all that speed heading down the long straightaway. Getting that gap back up to 2 seconds. But still well ahead of Leo, who's rounding out our podium position. Leo comes up to Viva 75.
Johnny just had an engine
Group
failure.
3 car.
And I only have 5 of our GT1 cars on track.
Oh, did we lose another one?
Johnny Boy.
Oh, Johnny Boy. Sad to see you go,
No.
Johnny. I think he might have had a broken shock.
That's it.
Yeah, something like that.
Had to go back to the pits. Not going to be able to make it back out. So Leo's still sitting in P3. Old Man Pip now in P4. Looks like these guys are spread out pretty good at this point.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, in Group 1, it's really the battle for the lead. See if S2C can catch up to Raider, or if Raider's going to extend that lead out. And Raider has been extending it ever so slightly, up to 2.3 seconds now. So if we check in with Nasty here in P6, that should be our leader in the Group 3 category. He now has an 11-second lead over Beavis. Tommy Turismo is nowhere to be seen. I'm guessing Tommy might have pitted. Had to give up the ghost on that fuel mileage.
He did.
So Nasty P1 in the Group 3 category. Beavis in P2. But 11.6 seconds back. So this is definitely Nasty's race to lose at this point. So Beavis in P2. PHG Strychnine rounding out the podium in our Group 3 class. Shout out to Strychnine being the only R8 we've seen today.
I think there's 2 or 3 Audis in tomorrow afternoon's race.
Interesting. Be interesting to see if they can work together, because right now, he's got his own pace, but he's managing it well. I mean, being in P3, had been leading for a while. I mean, Strychnine's put on a solid performance today.
He has, absolutely.
We have just over 5 minutes left, or just under 6 minutes left to go. Like everybody's pretty much gapped themselves. Not a lot of action going on. Just everybody putting in some solid laps, trying to run this race down. PHG Raider dealing with a little bit of lap traffic we saw ahead, and Tommy Turismo, but gets around just fine. S2C should catch Tommy and get around him easily on the long straight here. That did slow down Raider slightly, but not much. S2C did catch a couple of tenths, but has a full 2 seconds still to make up with only 5 minutes to do it. It looks like they may have some lap traffic that's just entering the front stretch right now that they may have to contend with by the time they get to the end of this lap. Raider right now has a clean track ahead of him. Still maintaining that 2 second gap. They get into the S's here. Again, those Group 1 cars can keep that throttle pinned the whole time. You can see ahead now. He is catching up to the Group 3s. Don't know if he's going to be able to get around them before they get to the bottom of the chicken leg here. Doesn't look like it. Maybe catching them as he comes out of the exit. of the second corner. Here he goes. End of the second. Oh, perfect timing.
Yeah, that was good.
Yep. Catch him. Going to be able to get around on the straight. No problem. In fact, Ecstasy may get around as well. Yep. Be able to get around before they get into the braking zone. Well done, K-Dub. Just holding his line as they're supposed to. The Group 1 cars working their way around. Still in awe by the closing speed of these Group 1 cars over the Group 3 cars.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, for someone like me, I rely on my radar quite a bit. But in a multi-class, series like this, you almost can't rely on the radar, except when you're dealing with your own class. When you're dealing with your own class, you use the radar, but you still have to have your eyes in your mirrors to watch for the upcoming, other class. Because by the time they show up on the radar, it's too late. They're going to be passing you very quickly.
Yeah, especially with a course as tight as this, it's just really wild how quickly somebody can run up on you.
If we're talking 10, 11, 12 seconds a lap faster, the GT1s are versus the 3s.
There they go, getting around more of the lap traffic in Beavis. Both of them cleared them with no issue. Now Estacy's caught up a little bit. The gap is now down to 1.5 seconds with 2.5 minutes to go. Not sure how much of that was dealing with that lap traffic. But Raider just got through turn 1 quite a bit better and just added another 0.3 to that gap. They do have a lap car coming up ahead, along with, it looks like, another GT1 car. Yep, put Itchy Nasty a lap down, and there's Jack Skellington, the P5 car, possibly maybe put a lap down by Raider here. Now the nice thing though here is that Raider can use Jack as a tow. Right. He is going to get some slipstream. He's not going to pass him right away, so he's going to get quite a bit of slipstream to help pull him away from Ecstasy. But to get around Jack is going to be a fight. These cars are equal. It's not as easy as passing the Group 3s. Looks like she's trying to take a different line through the final corner here. Again, still right up behind Jack. Really got to be careful of washing out in that dirty air here in turn 1. Ooh, Raider goes a little bit wide, gets onto the rumble strip, but keeps it on the track. But Ecstasy closing that gap. It is now less than a second. I mean, Raider might have been wanting to gap a little bit with using that slipstream, but now with Jack, holding him up in the S's, Estacy's now within 0.6 with less than a minute to go. They're going to get one more lap after this.
Yep.
This could come down to the wire.
Ecstasy.
Jack pulls out of the way.
This is going to get real interesting up here into this final chicane.
Yep, Raider and Jack are side by side. Ecstasy going to be able to use the toe to get caught up. Raider does clear him before the chicane. Ecstasy has to dive down in to get past Jack. Gets the pass done, but that might have affected his momentum. He is losing time to Raider. Raider's gap is now extended up to 0.8 seconds. They are on the final lap now. He's got one last chance to close this 0.7 of a second gap to see if he can maybe steal P1 on the final lap of this race. But Raider not going to give it to him. He has pulled that gap up to over a second, but then it drops back down to 0.9. And while we were doing that, PHG Nasty did cross the line and take the victory in the Group 3 class. Beavis in P2, and then Strychnine, the Audi R8 in P3. Raider continuing to add more of a gap between him and Ecstasy, now up to 1.2 seconds. Leo has crossed the line, finishing off the podium position in P3, Old Man Pip in P4. Yeah. Just got a couple of turns left to go As long as Raider doesn't make a mistake and is nice and smooth, should have this one locked up. Goes through the chicane, nice and smooth in, nice and smooth out. Ecstasy not overcooking it behind. PHG Raider going to take the win in split 3 in the Group 1 class. PHG Ecstasy coming across in P2. Leo P3, Old Man Pitt P4, and Jack Skellington P5.
That was getting pretty intense there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, things got all spread out, and it was getting a little comfortable. And, I mean, that's the thing in racing. It all changes so quick.
Yeah.
Ecstasy was right there, you know? I mean, a couple more lap cars at the right time.
Yep.
Or the wrong time from Raiders' perspective, and this could have been differently. What a finish.
I wonder what happened with the driver who was still sitting in the pits.
Yeah, they definitely slick. They had some major engine problems. I think they thought they could get it fixed, but obviously they did not.
Which is unfortunate because that is probably the prettiest car on track. And I would have liked to have seen it going around the track, but alas, it is the cleanest car of all of them out there for sure. So there's that to be said.
I'm a fan of black and red, so K-Dub's car stuck out for me. He has I really like it.
It is basic and sharp.
Yeah.
I like it as well. All right, we got another 30 seconds of runoff. While since we had a car in the pit, let these cars cool on down. Once again, congratulations to PHG Raider for winning the Group 1 class. And PHG Nasty for taking it home in Group 3.
The booty sweat. No
Shaggy said, Shaggy with a little insider information says it was a busted oil line and had to order a new one from Amazon. It's like in the pit, still waiting.
Too funny.
All right, so let's make sure we save that replay, and then we'll check the results. We'll save the replay after we go through the results. Papa, take us through it.
I can do that. Like I said before, we got PHG Raider with the win in the GT1 class. Congratulations, sir. But really, I mean, a second after an hour race, 1 second behind him was PHG Ecstasy. 2 great races there. Leo pulling out the final podium spot. BHR, Old Man Pip in P4, and Mr. PHG Jack Skellington rounding out our field of finishers for the GT1. For the win in the GR3 class, we have PHG Nasty. Right behind him, Beavis. And right behind him, PHG Strychnine in that lone R8, man. Nice job. And then in P9, we've got PHG K-Dub. Behind him is Tommy Turismo. PHG Amarillo Dash. Then we have PHG Slick. And then our 2 engine failures with Fernando Button and BK2 Johnny Boy.
Man, that's really too bad for Tommy Turismo. Tommy Turismo was really at the front for a
Yeah.
large part of this race, and it appeared that it was either a strategy call or maybe a missed button press that may have caused him to have to take an extra pit and ended up back in P10. Heartbreaker for Tommy Turismo for sure. Let's go ahead and nominate our drivers of the race. This time I'm going to let Chuck go first. Who's your driver of this race?
My driver of the race is going to be Leo. We saw him make a mistake earlier. He recovered, and he managed to finish on top of, or not on top of the podium, but on the podium. So that is going to be my driver of the race. You know, once again, it's the mental aspect of things. And, you know, you make a mistake. Okay, I screwed up. And now, you know, moving on to the rest of the race, I think he did a good job of representing that.
Excellent choice. Papa, who's your driver of the race?
I'm going to go with Nasty. I thought that was a pretty dominating win. Um, I mean, it really come towards the end. He really had no challenge. He just kind of drove away, kind of like what Shaggy said in the chat. He had plenty of fuel with 15 minutes to go, fresh, soft tires, and was just moving and never really slowed down. I'm going to give my tip of the hat to the Booty Sweat.
Yep, Nasty definitely had the strategy down.
Yeah.
Nasty was we really didn't talk about him much for the first half of the race. And then all of a sudden showed up and was like, I think he's gonna win this. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
well done, Nasty. I'm gonna give my driver of the race to Ecstasy. Ecstasy certainly gave Raider a run for his money. Raider was a provisional spot, and Raider is an A+ driver. So not to take anything away from anybody else, but I'm not surprised that Raider won. But Ecstasy really gave him a run for his money. Was up at the front all race long, had a solid strategy. I'm going to go with Ecstasy as my driver of the race.
Nice.
All right, so we've got the poll up in the YouTube chat. Make sure everybody that's in chat, go ahead and make sure to cast your vote for who you think the driver of the race is. Also want to give one more shout out to our sponsors who have helped make this league race possible. We've got 4D Racewear, we've got SimNet, we've got MZW Sim Hardware, and then Paul Davis Restoration. Definitely go check all those guys out. Of course, we've got discount codes for uh, SimNet and also for 4D Racewear. You can definitely find all that information in the Discord and all that kind of stuff. So, man, what a day of racing we had
Great racing.
today. I mean, both of them, I'll be honest, I was surprised at how clean that the racing was. And with how tight it was even more impressive watching those Group 1 cars go around the Group 3 cars. Uh, Papa, what stood out to you today?
Really, the patience from the GT1 cars coming up on the Group 3s. Like we said earlier in the broadcast, that it's a tight line going through those S's and the turns. It's hard to go side by side, so you really only had the straights for your passing opportunities, and they really had to be patient to get by them. And on the same hand, you got the Group 3 cars drivers who gave the room too. So, I mean, it's a hand-in-hand thing, and they got to work together to make this race successful, and they all
Yep.
did. It was great,
Yeah.
good stuff.
Well done all around. Kudos to all the drivers on this one.
Yeah.
Chuck, what kind of comments do you have on the racing we saw today?
One of the things we talked about it before the second race happened was, are we going to see a whole lot of chaos, right? Regarding everything going on in Split 3. And we did see a little bit of that earlier on, but I just really liked the clean racing and all of that stuff afterwards. Sometimes things happen on track. We call it racing incidents, right? You don't mean to get into somebody, but things happen on the racetrack.
Right.
So there was a little bit more chaos on or in Split 3, but at the end of the day, we had a good series of races, and it was very entertaining to watch and commentate with y'all.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I think the racing today was really top notch. I'll echo what you guys said. It was really fun watching the multi-class aspect of it and just how these guys are really starting to pick up on how it all works, And
Yeah.
back in, our first top split, no surprise once again, we got Wid and Jorge taking home the wins in our split 1 class or split 1 race, and then our the split 3 race that we just saw, also highly entertaining. I mean, we saw a really nice dive bomb, or not dive bomb, but really good pass by Raider going to the braking zone of the chicane. And then that save by BK2 Johnny Boy coming out of the chicane. It looked like he was wrestling that thing for a quarter mile,
Right.
and kept it straight the whole time. So definitely impressed by that. It looks like we've wrapped up our driver of the race nomination. Nasty appears to have ran away with that one, so everybody's on board with the Booty Sweat. Congratulations to Nasty for taking home not only the win, in the race, but the win for driver of the race as well. All right, so I think that is going to conclude our broadcast today. Two really good sets of races. Make sure to tune in tomorrow. We are going to be running our Split 2 race tomorrow afternoon. That is going to start at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. That's going to be on my YouTube channel. You can find my YouTube channel name here right below me. Definitely go find me, subscribe there, and make sure to check out our races that we're going to do tomorrow. All of us here have our own socials. You can find Papa over at Papa's House of Game. Go check his channel out as well. He is the proprietor of this community, and then of course Mustang Chuck as well. You can find him at Mustang Chuck. Um, you know, don't forget
Don't remember.
to hit like and subscribe on Mr. Casual's channel here as well. He has done a great job at running the broadcast here today. Tip of the hat to him for taking time out of his schedule to run this. He also does some broadcasting for the IRO series, which I believe in a couple weeks is going to be at Le Mans, and Mr. Casual will be doing one of those. So definitely stick around to his channel here. Any final thoughts from the two of you before we sign out? Chuck, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, no really big things. It was a very fun track. Road Atlanta is one of my favorite tracks to run on. It's definitely very tricky, and it's a lot of fun to see a league race put on in this multi-class racing and all of that, and seeing the different strategies play out. So it was definitely a very entertaining race to watch, and yeah, I had fun.
Awesome. All right, Papa, I'll let you say your final thoughts and goodbyes.
I second everything Chuck just said. And I mean, I just want to kind of stress that none of this is possible without the sponsors, without the drivers, without the broadcast, the commentators, and the umpteen people in the background that work this thing too. So I want to thank everybody for that. It without the team, this just wouldn't be possible.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. It takes a village to put these on, and luckily we have a village that is, willing to put in the effort to put on these broadcasts, to show off what we're doing to the world. Shaggy putting the combos together. He is a genius when it comes to these things, and all the drivers that actually put on the show. I mean, absolutely. Thank you guys for coming out. I know
Yeah.
we don't normally ask for things like donations and stuff. But if you guys are willing to, certainly it helps out, the overall production value if you're willing to do so, uh, and all that stuff. So with that said, I'll say my goodbyes as well. I mean, same thing. Thank you to everybody who came out today, all the fans that like to watch what we're doing here. It's great being able to, chit chat with you guys in the chat, participating in the driver of the race votes. Keep coming back. We'll keep doing this for you. And yeah, good set of races. So until next time, hopefully we see you guys tomorrow over on my channel. Otherwise, we will see you next week when we are back for round 5. So until then, have a good night. See you tomorrow.